Entitled mom tries to take my phone, breaks it, and gets kicked out of doctor's waiting room. Our cast. We've got me. I'm a 25-year-old woman. We've got entitled mom. We've got our little jerk, around 7 years old, I'm guessing. We've got nice receptionist, and we've got older gentleman, the hero. So, I've fallen sick, and thus had to book an emergency appointment with the doctor so I can get it checked out, and also get the needed paperwork for my work. Rules state I have to get doctor's papers the same day I get sick, or it's invalid. Sitting here, I use my phone to distract myself from my uncomfortable feeling in my stomach and bowels, reading Reddit mostly. Enter entitled mom and her little jerk. Entitled mom. I have an appointment with the doctor for my little angel. Nice receptionist, checking the register with the aid of their names and entitled mom's ID card. You're here 2 hours early, ma'am. Would you prefer to come back in 2 hours or wait in the waiting room? I will go sit there with my little angel. Just talk to the doctor and he will see us immediately. Note that it's very busy. A lot of people are here and my own appointment is already being delayed with 20 minutes by then. Entitled mom and little brat sit down on the few leftover chairs across from me, and I just keep reading some insane stories about entitled and insane parents when suddenly little jerk is standing right in front of me. Little jerk. Do you have games on your phone? Me. Just a few, but I'm reading right now. Little jerk. Can I play games on your phone? Me. Rather not. As I said, I'm reading, which is to distract myself from my sick feeling. Little jerk goes to his mother and cries about not being allowed to play games on my phone. Entitled mom. Give my little angel your phone. You've clearly had it a long time already, so you can miss it for a few minutes. Me. Ma'am, I'm not giving your son my phone. Yes, it's old. I already had a few cracks on the screen and lost the back cover. It's a 1+2, by the way. But I'm fond of it, and would rather not have your son break it more than it already is. Besides, why won't you just let him use your phone? You clearly have no idea what it's like to have children. He will break my phone if I let him. But if he breaks yours, it won't matter, because you're obviously capable of buying a new one yourself. I have no idea why she thinks that. I'm not dressed fancy or wearing expensive jewelry. Also, if I'd be able to buy a new one so easily, I would not be using this one still after 7 years and many falls. Me. I'm not giving your son my phone. A moment of silence happens when suddenly I hear footsteps, see a glimpse of long fake nails, and my phone is snatched from my hands. I look up to see entitled mom holding my phone triumphantly while smirking down at me, and little brat standing next to her with a big smile. This is when older gentleman gets up, grabs her wrist, and very calmly talks to her. Older gentleman. Ma'am, please give this young lady her phone back. I might be retired from the police force, but I still know how to restrain a thief and can call someone to arrest you in seconds. Entitled mom. How dare you assault me in front of my kid, you old lying fart. Get your hands off me, or I will call the real cops on you. After this, everything went a tad too fast for me to follow, partially because I got another wave of nausea, but it ended with my phone on the ground. Entitled mom yelling at nice receptionist about letting sickos and criminals do as they please, and little brat crying at her leg while older gentleman asks me if I'm okay. It took me a little while to realize that I had quite the scratch on my face from entitled mom's horrible nails. She probably took my nauseated bending forward as a threat. The scratches weren't bad, but I did bleed a little. Entitled mom got so uptight against nice receptionist, which made nice receptionist call the police, which are 1 street away. The police arrived. Entitled mom yelled lies at them, but the officer recognized older gentleman and knew him to be an honest man, so asked him what happened, asked my side of the story, and asked what nice receptionist saw/heard too. The 2 other people sitting there didn't speak Dutch, so couldn't testify. Entitled mom screams about how everyone is against me and my angel. She was taken away with her son, and I then pick up my phone to see it has extra scratches now, making the top right corner unreadable, so I can't see the time anymore. I got asked if I wanted to press charges, but I didn't want to go through that. My phone is still usable, and I didn't get seriously injured. Turns out, entitled mom is known for such behavior, and it hasn't been the first time for her to be dragged off by the police. Nice receptionist even told me that half the time they come here, little jerk isn't even remotely sick. Entitled mom just likes to flirt with the doctor. Edit. People keep telling me I should have been pressing charges. Right now, all I want is to have a peaceful sleep. As it turns out, I'm suffering from a real nasty food poisoning. But I can still look into pressing charges later on when I'm feeling better. An older gentleman did give me his number in case I change my mind, so he can testify and witness as needed. At this moment though, all I want is sleep. Next we've got, being banned from the store doesn't mean come back in a few months like nothing happened. I work in a petrol station in the UK, and near the start of this year, we had to ban 2 wee Neds from coming onto the property, not just inside the shop. These guys are both probably around 15, and one of them has about 5 teeth. We had hassles with them using the forecourt as a skate park for their bikes for a while, and they'd been told multiple times to stop harassing customers. One day, they started sitting on a container outside the window and were peeking in to where the till is, so my coworker had had enough and told them they had to leave or the police would be called. They weren't happy with that and gave him a lot of cheek and were being generally aggressive. So my coworker decided to ban them completely, not just the move along that he had just told them. They left, but tried to come back a fair amount, being told no each time. Then one day a woman who lives across the street came over and said that the boys had smashed her car window after she told them to stop using the parking spaces as a skate park. She asked that if we saw them, to phone the police. Of course, they came in about 15 minutes before my shift finished that day. I had to think quickly. My choices were either 1. Tell them to leave and have them cycle away, or 2. Serve them, then phone the police while they were hanging around outside. I decided option 2 would be the best to help this woman out, so I served them, and just as they walked out, a coworker arrived for the evening shift. I told her my plan and went to get the phone as they came back in. She, for some reason, decided to tell them to leave, so they did, kicking the door on their way out, smashing it, and cycling away as fast as their skinny legs could manage. We phoned the police, and they were well known to the police, but were never caught. Fast forward to today. They came in while the shop was busy and I was serving customers. I saw them and was immediately nervous. They had kicked the door when told no by a more menacing coworker, so who knows what they'd do to me, a 5'3" skinny guy. I kept an eye on them through the cameras while serving other customers. When they came up to the till, I took the stuff they were hoping to buy and told them that they had to leave, all with one hand on the panic button just in case. They of course complained, so I just passed off the blame to someone who isn't within punching distance or even in the shop, the manager. It ain't my decision, I'm just following orders, I tell them, to which they reply, "But we've not been here in months. Surely it doesn't matter." I can't remember what I said next, but one of them said to the other, "I can't believe you smashing the door got me banned too." Like, yes? Even though the tall guy was the one who smashed the door, the short guy was by far more verbally aggressive to me and my coworkers. In the end, I didn't phone the police, as they cycled away before I could find the paperwork with the police incident number on it. I did leave a note for my coworkers though, to let them know that these guys were about again after we hadn't seen them in months. Next we've got, contractor lost a deal because he doesn't believe me. This happened a long time ago, and my dad likes to bring it up as a teaching tool on why you should always be polite no matter how the other person is dressed. Anyways, we've got my dad, who's also CEO of the construction company. We've got idiot contractor, we've got receptionist, we've got regular office worker, and we've got me. Setting: my dad's company reception area. Little background: I had an internship that was near my dad's office, but growing up, I never stopped by my dad's office, ever. So his colleagues know that he has kids, but they don't know what I look like. So here goes. My internship ended way earlier than expected, and I called my dad and see if he would like to go grab lunch with me before I head home. He said yes, but let me know that he's in a meeting and it might take a while. I was fine, said I'll wait in the lobby till he's done. Cue me stepping into the reception area and telling the receptionist that I'm here waiting on someone. Receptionist: okay, do you want me to call whoever you're waiting on so they know you're here? Me: No thank you, he already knows I'm waiting. So I settle down on one of the nice couches and pull out a folder from my internship and read. I then spy the nice coffee maker and decided to make myself some coffee. Then in comes idiot contractor, basically storming into the place like he owns it. Idiot contractor to the receptionist. Hey, I'm here. Call worker and let him know. I need to go over some stuff with him before presentation. Receptionist was polite and got on the phone quickly to call worker, I presume. And you, make me a coffee. I take it black. Since I was an idiot, and again, I don't work here, I didn't realize he was speaking to me. Idiot contractor. You, miss. I look up. Yes, you. Make me a cup of coffee. Black. Me. No thank you. I'm just waiting on someone. I have no idea why he thinks I work there, as I'm dressed way too casually to be working there at all. All the ladies wear business suits, and I'm there in jeans and a casual top. Idiot contractor. What do you mean, no? Do you know who I am? I have a contract with this company. I will tell your boss you are rude, and you won't have a job at all. The poor receptionist looked horrified and tried to defuse the situation. Receptionist. Idiot contractor. I just called worker and he's on his way down. Why don't you take a seat? I don't believe this. Is she, gestures at me, here for an interview? She's not going to get the job now. That's the problem with people just starting out. No respect. I just ignored him and sat back down sipping my coffee. Just then, worker shows up, hearing the tirade. Worker. What's going on? Idiot contractor. This girl, gestures to me sipping coffee again, is rude and disrespectful. I told her to make me a coffee and she refuses. Receptionist. Worker, she said. Worker waves the receptionist off. I'll take care of this. Don't worry about it. Now, miss, looks at me while I stare at him with my eyebrows raised slightly. I probably looked like a jerk because I was getting annoyed as heck. Idiot contractor here is a very important person at this company. Are you here for an interview? Go get him the coffee and I'll talk to HR about this, okay? Me. I don't work here, nor do I want to. I'm waiting for someone. Worker at receptionist. Who's she waiting for? Idiot contractor before receptionist could respond. Probably her boyfriend. Probably one of the new guys. Poor dude. He laughs harder. Worker. Now, miss, you're making things difficult for your friend. He said it in a condescending tone. When you're rude to his bosses at work, your boyfriend could be fired for this. At this point, my eyebrows just rose higher and higher. Thankfully, my dad walked into the lobby with a colleague of his that I've known since I was a kid, Uncle M. Receptionist. Boss, loudly. Going to lunch now? Dad. Yes. Sees me getting berated by two guys. What happened? Worker. Nothing, boss. Just some new guy's girlfriend who's rude to idiot contractor. I'll talk to him and get it sorted out, and idiot contractor and I will have the presentation ready after lunch. Dad makes a confused face. Boyfriend? Me. Daddy, he, referring to idiot contractor, got angry when I said I'm not making him coffee because I don't work here. He kept going on, and worker here thinks I'm somebody's girlfriend and said he's going to get him fired because I didn't want to make coffee. Yeah, I know. I do the whole daddy spoiled girl thing when I'm mad, and frankly, I'm really mad at these idiots' condescending attitude. Both idiot contractor and worker's faces went ghost white when they realize I'm waiting for their CEO, who happens to be my dad. Uncle M to receptionist. Is that true? I heard some shouting. Receptionist nods her head. Uncle M. OP, are you here for lunch with your dad? I nod my head. Okay, why don't you both go and I'll take care of this. Worker, idiot contractor, my office, now. My dad and I left, and I had to spend the whole lunch explaining what had happened. My dad didn't say much, but I can tell he's not happy. He told me not to worry, and he'll get to the bottom of it. His way of saying he'll light a fire under both idiot contractor and workers' butts. Later that night, when my dad got home, my mom got the whole story and told me. While my dad and I were out at lunch, Uncle M got the whole story from the receptionist, and idiot contractor's contract was promptly canceled due to unprofessional behavior, and worker was basically in the doghouse with his immediate supervisor, who reports to my dad and Uncle M. From what I understand, he quit the company about 6 months later and had to go into a different field. Sorry for the long post, but basically, two idiots decided to be rude to some girl they thought was dating one of the new guys at the office, except that she turns out to be their CEO's kid. Next we've got, it's not false advertising. Policy at my store has always been we could only change prices on items that were in the ad if they rang up wrong. When we went to digital coupons, because we have so many elderly customers, our DM said if it's in the ad, we could give them the digital coupon price. Well, people started taking advantage of it and demanding we give them the digital coupon if there was a sign. There was recently some major changes in positions at the corporate level. Along with new people being in charge and senior employees being in different positions came some policy changes. One policy change was back to only if it's in the ad for any and all price changes, including digital coupons. Signs are posted on all registers and at the service desk stating this, along with stating all digital coupons are available on the app and to see a member of management for any help with the app. I'm at the express register when a lady comes up and starts handing me items saying, "There's a digital coupon for this, etc." while digging through her card. Me, "Okay, let's get everything out of your card first and scan your rewards card so your digital coupons will be taken off at the end." Lady huffs at me. Me, "By the way, ma'am, this is the express lane for small purchases of 15 or less. Since I'm not busy at this moment, I will take it this time, but for future reference, a purchase of this size needs to be taken to registers 1 through 4. 5 and 6 are not set up for purchases of this size." Lady, a more disgusted scoff at me. As I start scanning her items, she looks at me and asks where my monitor is so she can see what everything is ringing up. Me, "I'm sorry, but we don't have monitors on Express since it's only for small purchases." Lady, "Well, how am I supposed to see what you're scanning so I can tell you when to add the digital coupons?" Me, "Do you have the digital coupons downloaded to your card?" "No, I don't have one of them smartphones or a computer." Me, "Well, I can give you the digital coupons for items you bought that are in the ad, but not anything else." "Since when? Are you new? They have always just given me the digital coupons when I told them there was one." "No, I'm not new. I've been here 4 years and I'm a customer service lead. We've been told by corporate to go back to policy of only items in the ad get a price adjustment, and that includes the digital coupons." "Where does it say that? I want to see it in writing." Me, points to bright pink sign on the side of the register. "It's posted on all registers and at the customer service desk." "So you're saying you have these signs saying it's a certain price if you have the digital coupon, but you can't give me the digital coupon price? That's false advertising." "Ma'am, it's not false advertising. There are 3 prices on each tag: the regular price, the sale price with a rewards card, and then the price with the digital coupon. You can't get sale prices without a rewards card, right? The digital coupons are additional savings added to your rewards card, but you have to download them to get the additional savings." This went back and forth a few times, with her getting louder each time about it being false advertising. Finally, the coworker I was covering for came back from her break. She happens to be another customer service lead that happened to be scheduled at a cashier instead of manager that day. She sees the frustration in my face and listens for a minute. She finally interjects with, "Ma'am, it's not false advertising. The tags are basically advertising the app and the digital coupon you can get on the app. Either way, we're still covered because of the fine print in our ad and on our website. We are just glorified cashiers with lead on our name tags. We have nothing to do with policies or pricing, but have to be the ones to enforce the policies." Lady, "I don't really care about any of that. It's false advertising, and I'm talking to a lawyer about it, and corporate will be hearing from me about you two. I want your names." Me, "And we can no longer talk to you or serve you. You will now have to wait for our department leader and the store leader to come check you out. Another policy is once lawsuits and lawyers are mentioned, no one is allowed to handle the situation except for them. Please feel free to step over to the service desk and wait for them." With that, we walked away, and she was still yelling at us. "It's false advertising." I clocked out after telling the bosses what was up. Coworker told me today, lady left upset because store leader gave her a card with corporate's legal phone number and refused her purchase after about 10 minutes of her screaming about false advertising. Next we've got, landlord made me live in squalor, now she's bankrupt. So here's the story of my previous living situation, which was at best horrendous. I moved into what I thought at the time was a lovely 3/4 bedroom house with a nice offset garage and garden, Perfect for my family consisting of myself, my partner, and my 3 kids. Well, a few weeks into moving in, the problems started to arise. We moved in just before Christmas, and the weather was awful. Torrential rain, in fact, which is when we discovered the horrendous leak in my roof. I mean water teeming through the roof, into the walls, down my windows, resulting in all my pots and pans having to sit in my window to collect said rain. Well, we ended up realizing we had a leak through the roof in my daughter's room after she was awoken by rain dripping on her whilst she slept. She was 2 at the time. We discovered over the course of the time we lived there that the electrics had never been checked and often shorted out. The gas pipes were under regulated minimum gauge, and when the heating was on, we couldn't power the gas cooker or vice versa. The decking out on the back was rotten, and when we stood on it, it just snapped. There was a 4-foot drop underneath this. A gas safety check showed that a Comey boiler was broken and condemned, but they still refused to replace it. The heating system could never be switched off, even on the summer. All of these were reported and promised to be fixed. Over time, the patio door hinge, which was snapped completely, fell off, and we couldn't close it properly or lock it. Reported and were told it would be fixed. Waited months, and even though I was still paying full rent, it never got fixed. I eventually got fed up and reported it to the local environmental health team. They came out to inspect the property and raised concerns over the kitchen floor, which was warped and a major trip hazard. We also discovered from this visit the 4th bedroom, which was in the loft, was illegal due to how it had been done. No insulation, no heating, bodged electrics. So the local environmental health team handed an order over to the landlord to repair all these in a 3-month period. It didn't get done. The council took the landlord to court for breach, and she ended up having to pay fines and was given another 6 weeks to rectify. A few of the jobs got sorted when I found my new house to move into. 2 years later, I've just found out through a close friend, the council proceeded to complete the jobs themselves, and the landlord has now been declared bankrupt due to this. Her house is being put up for auction. She will receive nowhere near what she needs to pay off her debt and has had to give up her other houses due to bankruptcy laws, meaning she can't own equity, not even a decent car. If only she'd put the rent I was paying into fixing her house, it wouldn't have gone this far. I'm not sure what's happened regarding the illegal goings-on, the gas and electrical problems that were never properly upkept, but I like to hope she got punished in some way or form. Karen wants my shiny Pokemon for her son. Got a Halloween one for you, featuring my misadventures playing Pokemon Go. Cast, we've got me. We've got our antagonist, Matilda, because Karen is overused and she seemed like an odd duck. We've got Officer. So, I'm a coffee addict. I know, shocker. And as coffee addicts like to do, this morning I went for a stroll down to the Golden Arches for a cup of joe. And because walking and doing nothing is boring, I decided to play some Pokemon Go while I walked to get that sweet cup of magical bean juice. The walk there was fairly uneventful. A couple people just milling about doing their own thing. Get to McDonald's and get my sweet ambrosia and step outside. Proceed to whip out my phone and take the long way home to hit a couple stops and enjoy my coffee. I'm walking up to my first, and what would turn out to be my last stop, and spy our would-be antagonist at the stop, sitting at the heater that was in the gazebo built at the stop. I'm a few feet away, and it happens. Cue Pokemon battle music. A wild, shiny Pokemon appears. To be fair, I had a lucky egg going. I load that sucker up with a berry and throw a great ball at it. I catch it, and in my drowsy excitement, I shout an exuberant, "Heck yeah!" This draws the ire of our antagonist, Matilda. "Hey, don't swear. There are kids around." Reasonable reaction, I guess. I accept I'm in the wrong there. I did know Goblin was near, yet I still swore. My bad. Kid was around 6, so, I'll just head out. Me. "Oh, sorry miss. I got a little too excited. Won't happen again. I'm just passing by, so I'll be out of your hair soon." Matilda. "Good. What on earth would make you swear around a kid?" Me. "I'm playing Pokemon on my coffee run and just caught a shiny ghost I've been hunting. I got a little too excited about it and got carried away. My brain is still at the bottom of my cup." Matilda. "Well, you owe my son something for what you did. Give him that Pokemon. Now." I'm going to assume a bunch of you know how that game works with trading, but for non-nerds, here's a TLDR. I can't give her Spawn a rare Pokemon without us playing together for way too long for me to be chilling with her brat. Me. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Matilda, resisting the urge to ask for my manager.
Excuse me?
Me. Not going to happen. I'm not giving your son anything. Not just that, I can't.
What do you mean you're not giving my son anything?
Exactly what I said. She finally mega evolves to a full-blown Karen. Matilda.
You will give my son that Pokemon now, you piece of crap. Or I will call the police and charge you with harassment.
Me, pointing at the camera in the park that watches the bums sleep in the gazebo. Go ahead. In true entitled fashion, she actually calls the police on me. I haven't even gotten within 5 meters of this lady, and I know the camera has seen it all, including my happy dance at catching that little Pokemon. Spoiler, I can't dance. The RCMP show up, and of course, Matilda instantly flies off the handle and starts spewing vitriol at them about how I'm basically horrible. I'm just leaning against a fence, looking bored and annoyed, throwing balls at passing ghastly, sipping my coffee. Calm as can be, despite my annoyance, only because of the coffee. The officer approached me and asked what happened. Me. I was on my morning coffee run and played some Pokemon Go on the way there. I caught something I've been hunting for a while and got excited and swore within earshot of her and her son. I hold up my phone, displaying my new trophy. Officer. Did you ever approach that woman? Me. I haven't even been within a few meters of her. Check the camera. I've been here listening to her screaming at me because I accidentally said a bad word near her kid and wouldn't do as she demands by giving her kid a rare Pokemon by way of apology. Matilda hears the word camera and goes white. Evidently, she missed me pointing right at it. She tried backpedaling really fast while the other officer is off checking the footage in his cruiser. He returns with his cuffs out. Not for me though, for her. They asked me if I wish to press charges. I told them yes. She was booked for filing a false police report, lying to an officer, and I'm not sure what else. I'll find out later. I'll update when I get more information. Next we've got, I expect you to build my son a game, and I expect you to do it for whatever I pay you. For context, I work at a cafe in the downtown core of the city I live in. Today, I was taking advantage of a lull between customers to talk to a friend about game design, and more specifically, a game I'm dreaming of developing one day. Granted, said dream though is probably a pipe dream in all honesty, given how time-consuming and expensive it is. We were talking about how the game's multiplayer would be structured when this story begins. We've got Entitled Kid, we've got Entitled Mom, we've got Friend, and me. Entitled Kid has been hovering around, obviously within eavesdropping distance for the last couple of minutes when he moves in and inserts himself into the conversation. Entitled Kid.
Wow, that game sounds cool.
Me, both enthused at the interest and annoyed at the intrusion. Thanks, I guess. Entitled Kid.
What's it called? Where can I get it?
Me. It's not even built. It's just an idea.
Yeah, but what's it called? Is it on Xbox?
Friend. It's not an actual game, kid. It's just an idea in Sage of Profession's head. Entitled Kid.
What? Why not?
Me. 'Cause I have no time or money.
What? Can't you make time? And you make money here. Spend it on making that game.
Me. It's going to cost a heck of a lot more than my wage here.
Liar.
Me, indignant. Excuse me?
If you're going to keep lying like that, I'm going to get my mom to pay you. Then you'll have no more excuses.
Friend, amused. Sure, go right ahead. Entitled Kid runs off, and we keep talking about making the game when Entitled Mom butts into the conversation without warning, stopping us by basically shoving a hand in Friend's face to stop him. Entitled Mom.
Hi there, I'm Entitled Kid's mother. He said you play a game that he wants to play, and you aren't telling him the name.
Friend. We're not telling you the name because it doesn't have one yet. Entitled Mom, already getting angry.
How can a game not have a name yet? How do you expect someone to find it on Bing?
Yes, she actually said being. We're still laughing about it now. Me, doing my best to keep a straight face. It's not even made yet. Friend doing the same. It's not even being made. Entitled kid behind entitled mom.
What? You guys are talking about how to play it through.
Friend. Just because Sage of Profession knows how it'll play doesn't mean it's actually made. Entitled mom scoffs.
And how does it work? How do you know all that if it's just in your head?
Me, bluntly. You never imagined how something works before? Entitled mom pauses visibly before continuing.
All right, fine. How long will it take you to make this?
Me, probably quite. Entitled mom interrupts.
Have you even started?
Me, no, I don't even have the money. Entitled mom gets angrier.
What? You have a job, you know. You earn money working here, right?
She sighs.
Whatever. My son's going to keep hounding me about this. So, how much will I have to pay you?
Friend, wait, you pay him?
Yes.
Me, you want to pay me?
Yes.
To make this game? Entitled mom going red-faced.
Yes. How much? Stop being lazy and spit it out.
Me, pauses for a few moments to think of an answer. $500,000.
$500,000?
Me, to pay for staff, development PCs, software licenses, data centers, cloud storage and servers. I'd need more to buy or rent an office.
BS. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to make this game for me, and you're not going to lie about the price. I'm paying you $80, like any other game out there, and nothing more.
Entitled kid.
I want to play the beta.
Entitled mom, listening to entitled kid.
And you're going to have a beta ready for my son next week.
Me, I won't. Entitled mom.
Excuse me? I'm paying you, so I expect you to do your job. And I expect you to have it ready by this time next week.
Me, deadpan. I'm not working this day next week.
Well then, you better come back here to meet me. Otherwise, I'm not paying you.
Me, deadpan. Okay, I'm not working, so I'm not coming in. Entitled mom sputters.
Enough! Beta, here, this time next week, or I'm not paying you.
Entitled mom and entitled kid leave at this point. Honestly, I hope they do come back. My manager was watching in the background, and she got a good laugh out of it all. Both her and I are actually kinda hoping entitled mom and entitled kid come back next week. If they do, we'll update you all. Next we've got, customer tries to take a computer and TV in one of the most brazen ways I've ever seen. This happened about 6 years ago at one of America's largest retail chains. I was fairly new to retail at this time, still young enough to believe in the good in people. I was monitoring our 4 self-checkout registers. A woman comes up with a computer and TV in the box. My initial reaction was me thinking why anybody would come over to self-checkout to scan those items, as we didn't have hand scanners at this time over there. You either had to hover the barcode over the scanning plate, or you needed somebody like me to type in the UPC and serial numbers for both items. So I go over and type in the numbers, and all seems well. A few moments later, I see some error message on my screen I'm standing behind that I couldn't interpret. I didn't know what it was saying. I had never seen this before, but it did mention the items were voided off. I thought it might have been a simple void she did, which I always need to approve on self-checkout, which annoyed me because I took the time to type in the UPC and serial for both items and she suddenly doesn't want them? Turns out, she did want the items. I go over to the woman and ask what's up, and she says she didn't know, but she used her credit card and it said the transaction went through. Not likely since no receipt came out, but she mentioned she didn't even need it. For a computer and TV? Are you dumb? She kept insisting the transaction went through. Not knowing what to do, I call a customer service manager over to sort through this problem. The customer tells the CSM the same thing, and the CSM says she needs to go into the cash office and check the transaction logs for that self-checkout to see if it really went through or not. Keep in mind, Throughout all this, the customer is using a, now known, not at the time, technique of acting super busy by repeatedly saying,
I'm going to be late to pick up my daughter.
which, not knowing that kind of tactic, still made me think, who buys a TV and computer when they are that pressed for time? Manager reiterates she needs to check the transaction logs and she would be back in a few minutes. Customer is annoyed, but the manager walks off to do that. The entire time she's in the cash office, this woman is going on about how it went through. And after a minute, she asks me if she can call her credit card company to see if they say it went through. I didn't confirm their response would mean she could up and leave, but I said she is free to do so. So she takes out her phone, calls a number, and without even being asked any identifying information, gets a rep on the line in record time. She tells me the rep said it went through and asks if I'd like to speak to them. Not wanting to get involved with her personal financial stuff, I declined to take the phone, and one of the biggest regrets of my life, because I'd kill to see what they actually said on the other line, as it clearly was not a credit card company. She hangs up and now keeps on going.
They said it was fine. Can I go?
And I stayed, not until the manager gets back. So after what seemed like an eternity of listening to this woman go on and on about needing to pick up her daughter, calling her credit card company, asking if she's good to go, etc., my manager comes out. She explains there was no transaction in the log of her purchase and asks to see her card. She takes one look and says, it didn't go through because it's expired. See? And points. The customer, realizing they were truly defeated, angrily mumbles something like,
Fine, I guess I won't be buying these things today.
Which of course was no problem for us, and storms off, leaving us baffled. Next we've got, the entitled mom is the manager? So 2 years ago, my family went on vacation in another state and we used an Airbnb. If you don't know what that is, basically someone lets someone else stay in their house for a few days. You put your house or apartment on the website or whatever, and someone else pays you to stay there. It sounds like a weird concept at first, but it can actually be quite helpful. So like I said, me and my family went on vacation. We were supposed to stay in a nice peaceful house near a river. But a week before we went, the owner of the house canceled on us. We don't know why, but we were a bit upset. But oh, that was just the beginning. We were in for a wild ride. The cast. We've got my mom, we've got my dad, we've got entitled mom, the most unsympathetic person I've ever seen. We've got assistant manager, we've got Airbnb person on the phone, and we've got kid, entitled mom's kid, not important to the story. Because the owner canceled on us, we had to go to a different house. The owner/manager of the house assured us that this was a nice house in a nice neighborhood. I mean, yeah, it wasn't necessarily a bad neighborhood, but it wasn't anywhere near safe. We got into the house, we unpacked and went to sleep. Note, my brother and I shared one Nintendo Switch. We had already hooked it up to the TV in the house. Also note, the TV was right near the front door. When we woke up, we noticed the front door was cracked open. My parents asked each other if anyone had gone outside, and everyone said no. Then we realized that our Switch and my brother's Kindle tablet were gone. Someone came into the house and took them. As you may guess, my brothers and I were mortified. Note, the door was not forced open. Someone had either unlocked the door, which we made extra sure to lock up before bed, or someone straight up picked the lock. The only people that had the key were the manager/entitled mom, the cleaning people, the Airbnb supervisor/assistant manager, and a contractor that had come the week before. It could have been anybody. So obviously, we were all kind of surprised. We're in a house we've never been in, and switchless. Dad then called the manager, assistant manager, and the police. This is where the entitled mom comes in. She came to the house, and her kid, who looked about 9-ish, was sitting in the car. The car was on and stuff, he was fine. He didn't really do anything in this situation. So my parents told the officer and the two managers what happened. We lost a Switch, the game that was in the Switch, and a tablet. That means we were robbed of about $460 worth of stuff. Entitled mom was told this, and didn't give two craps. When mom and dad told entitled mom the situation, her response was almost always,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
or that's too bad. The entitled mom just did not care. Assistant manager and the officer said they would confront the people with the keys. Needless to say, we left 2 days later. Dad got pretty upset and left a bad review. However, he didn't have an Airbnb account, so he did it under Mom's account. A few days later, my mom gets an email from Entitled Mom basically going like this. Not the actual words. Entitled Mom.
Hello, this is Entitled Mom. I saw that you left a bad review on the stay you had. That review is inaccurate and destroying our business. Take it down before we do. I will leave a bad review on you.
People who own an Airbnb house can leave their own reviews on customers so that the rest of the company knows who to be careful around. So, my mom was upset at that. This woman gave us zero sympathy for the robbery that took place in her own house. So Mom pulled an Uno reverse card on Entitled Mom and used her words against her. Mom, in her email response, "Oh, that's unfortunate." She never got a reply to that. But that's not all. Not too long after, my mom got a call from Airbnb. They asked her about the bad review that was left and wanted to know about what happened. So my mom told the story to Airbnb. They thanked her for the feedback and hung up. Now my mom was in a mix of anger, contentment, and confusion. She later saw that Entitled Mom did in fact leave a review on her. Now Mom is hesitant to use her account, and usually Dad books all the houses on his account now. We still don't know who took the Switch and tablet. We don't have any solid evidence that Entitled Mom took them. It could have just been a regular old robber. But it doesn't really matter now, since that all happened 2 years ago. We have a new Switch now, and my brother now uses my old tablet. Just how uncaring Entitled Mom was really made everyone upset. This happened in her own house, and about $460 worth of stuff was taken. Mom agreed that if it had been in her house, she would have felt horrible, especially since it was a kid's game. And what did Entitled Mom do? She got upset at us for being upset at her lack of sympathy. Next we've got, your milk is definitely not my problem. So this took place 3 years ago in the Netherlands when I was on an errand for my mom near the Dutch grocery store. I was 13 at the time, so even though I was Dutch, I wasn't really that tall yet. So I was standing just outside the store, double checking if I brought enough cash according to my grocery list, when this English-speaking lady came rushing over to me. I could immediately tell she was American, but since I didn't know of Reddit yet, I sadly couldn't identify the caring details in time. Remember, I'm a 13-year-old tiny pole of a boy in the Netherlands. I don't know why she thought I could speak perfect English, but she immediately started spouting out some lines about milk in an angryish tone, which I didn't appreciate. Now, I know many people here say that they aren't good with confrontation, but I have ADHD, and it has basically become part of my life at this point. I wasn't about to just receive incoherent yelling from some old hag in the middle of the street, so I just rudely shouted, "Hey, could you slow down a bit, miss?" This clearly offended Karen, but at least I was able to understand her from this point on. This was the conversation. Karen gasps.
How dare you speak to me like that? Are all kids in Holland so rude?
Me. Well, not really, but you were kinda shouting at me. Could you tell me what's wrong? Karen.
Oh, so now you will do your dang job. Listen up, boy. I'm gonna ask you one more time to carry my milk for me.
Me. Milk? What? I really don't understand. I don't think you know me. I meant, I think you have the wrong person by that. Karen.
Well, of course not. Are you stupid? Is this why they positioned you outside for scouting instead of doing actual work?
Me. I'm not sure what you mean, lady, but I'm losing my patience.
I told you not to talk back. Now come here and carry this.
She dragged me by the arm to her car. At this point, I could see the prophesized milk she was talking about. It was 5 boxes of like 12 cartons at a time, which would never fit into her little rental car. Me. Hey, don't touch me. I was small, but knew how to fight, so I wasn't threatened by some dinosaur easily.
You disrespectful brat. How dare you shout at me?
At this point, people started gathering since cars didn't really pass by often and you could clearly hear the shouting match. Dope Guy got out of the car to confront Karen, and this conversation followed. He asked her in Dutch, "Ma'am, is this your child?" Karen.
What? Speak English or leave. I'm busy.
My apologies, but this kid doesn't really resemble you. Why are you shouting at him?
He works here and he's slacking off.
I finally realized the misunderstanding, and I was about to unleash a verbal can of whoop butt on this entitled jerk when Dope Guy spoke up within .1 seconds. Dope Guy: "Miss, this kid is clearly under the work age and has no uniform on. Please let go of him."
What uniform? This kid was checking some list for the store goods.
Me: "Yeah, that was a shopping list. Now let me go before I bite your wrinkles off."
You little...
People already started angrily confronting Karen, and she immediately let go. Dope Guy went to go get an actual employee, and Karen got some help after being forced to apologize to my smug-looking butt. To this day, I don't understand why she thought Dutch employees stand outside stores for scouting with some goods list or whatever, but I guess I got away with it before being accused of stealing her milk or something. My adventures with a wholly entitled mom. At the beginning of his senior year in high school, my youngest son brought home a stray kid. He quietly took me aside and asked if this boy could stay at our house. He said that the poor kid was scared of his parents and needed somewhere to stay while he tried to graduate from high school. This was a bit different than bringing home a stray kitten. I, of course, started asking questions. The first, which was what was the kid's name? I recognized the last name though, and was hoping in the depths of my soul that his mother wasn't who I thought it was, because this gal was bonkers. A vicious pounding on the front door just a few minutes later confirmed my fears. There was the bonkers lady on my porch. With her were two cops. She immediately started screeching that I had taken her son. To this day, I have been unable to find out how she knew her poor son was at my house. The boys hadn't told anyone they were coming here for fear of this happening, and this was way before cell phones were common. I stepped outside and stood with my arms crossed, waiting for her to stop screaming. While waiting, I looked over the two cops that were with her. I could see right away that one of them was going to be a problem because of the way he was frowning. The other just looked embarrassed. Then she stopped screaming to take a breath, and I started talking. "How old is your son?" I asked. She looked at me and screamed that it was none of my business. I told her that it was my business as well as the police's business, because no one could move forward until this information was brought forth. The cop that looked like he would be a problem started frowning harder at me. I asked him if I was right, and he said that, and I kid you not,
God is above all worldly laws.
oh boy, this was gonna suck. You see, this woman was crazy about the Pentecostal church. You know, the kind where dancing around with snakes and falling to the floor while jabbering is not only expected, but encouraged. I now had two such folks on my porch in the form of a cop and an entitled mom. This was gonna be one ridiculous hassle. I really hated hassles, especially stupid ones. I stuck my head in the door of my house and asked the kid how old he was. When he told me he was 17, his mother once again started screaming.
He is lying. He is only 16, and I demand that he come out of there, now!
I guess you can lie if you're holy. She lunged for the door, but I was a bit faster and locked it before I pulled it shut. She shoved me out of the way and began to frantically shriek and pound on the door. I began to wonder if she was going to break my doorknob because of the way she was attacking it. This was when the embarrassed cop ordered her to stop. This crazy woman would have charged into my house if I hadn't had locked the door. The frowning cop told me to get the kid. I told him that 17 was a legal age in this state for situations like this, and he didn't have to come out for anyone. I knew this because I had grown up in a troubled home, and I had left at 17. There was no way I was going to hand over a kid to someone acting like this if I didn't have to. The woman started screaming again, but this time she was screaming something about her having it on good authority that my husband was a pot dealer. This was funny because in all of the years I have been with my hubby, he had never even tried it. He thinks smoking is stupid. I have no clue where this came from. In fact, I was more likely to have pot than my hubby. But I knew a warrant would be needed for this kind of crap, and the frowning cop didn't react to this, just kept on frowning. He knew I was right. I stood and listened to the screeching, and now there were tears mixed in for a few more seconds. I wanted to see if she would calm down and behave normally. When she didn't, I told them to leave, and I went inside. I had to go around to the back door because I didn't have my keys on me. She continued to freak out with huge brain sobs, but the cops made her leave with them. The poor kid was barely keeping back tears and was super embarrassed. He told me how she would make him pray out loud for hours, how she refused to let anyone but church kids be his friends, how she would come into his room and tear it all up looking for drugs, and every night she would say grace for so long the food got cold. He said she would go into fits of rage if she found anything she deemed of the devil in his possession, and this was pretty much everything. He said he hated her church and hated the weirdos there and just plain couldn't take it anymore. When I asked if his father condoned this, he told me his dad never ever said anything out loud unless it was in the form of prayer. We took the kid in. My older son had moved out for college a few months before, so I had a spare bedroom already set up for a teenager. Easy peasy. Then came the weekend. This crazy entitled mom and about 10 folks from her church, including the frowning cop, but not in uniform this time, came to my house and loudly prayed at it. They were careful to stay in the street, but it was still so dorky that it was almost comical. It was then that I had a great idea. I got a bag of chips and a bottle of soda, set up a lawn chair in my driveway, and sat and watched them pray at me. I watched them in the same way one would watch a movie. I would look at each one of them. None would look at me in the eye because I was evil, while they took turns praying loudly at my house. I just sat there, munching chips and drinking my soda. This must have disturbed them because they only kept it up for about 45 minutes. Then they all piled into a van after telling me they would pray for me. I never said a word, but I did salute them when they were leaving. They did this every weekend for months. They must have hated the cold though, because if it was too cold or snowing, they didn't show up. I would set up my lawn chair every time. Sometimes I would up the game and have a beer instead of a soda. This made them pray louder. If I were to write down everything they did while that boy was staying at our house, it would turn into a novel. This entitled mom tried everything she could to get me into trouble, but I managed to steer clear. This kid stayed with us for over a year and a half while he worked and saved up money. He made friends, went on dates, and really opened up. He became a normal teenager despite this goofy mom and her weird church. He would hang out with my son and hubby, and he became a happy kid. He then applied for and got a job teaching English in Japan, and I was really sad to see him go. He was a really good boy, and we enjoyed having him with us. 4 days after the kid left for Japan, his crazy entitled mom came over to tell me that God had listened to her prayers, and now her baby was out of our den of depravity. I only shrugged when she told me this. Whatever lets you sleep at night, entitled mom. Whatever lets you sleep. Next we've got entitled mom thinks her brat can play in our garden. My dog gets hurt, and the police are called. Cast. We've got Karen. We've got entitled kid. We've got my mom and me. Think back to the summer of 2018, the year this story occurred. My mom and I were home alone because the rest of our family was either working or at school. We're sitting in our kitchen and chatting a bit, while my cute dog is outside in the garden napping under some trees. We can watch her through our kitchen window that offers the perfect view into our garden. Said garden is quite big. We have a miniature tree house, a lot of plants and flowers, fruit trees, etc. And in the far back is a big trampoline, a sandbox, and 2 swings. We live at the main street of our suburb, so a lot of people pass by over the day. Our backyard is not only cut off by a gate, but the garden is also separated from the parking space for our cars through tall bushes. You can barely see the garden outside of the property, and you're only able to see one of the swings at a specific angle. The gate was closed when the story happened. So, my mom and I are just talking, when suddenly my dog appears next to me, very much frightened. Trying to calm her down, I sit on the floor and cuddle her, wondering what scared her so much that she fled the garden. You have to know she's very easily scared. She never barks and doesn't attack in situations of danger. She runs. So obviously, something must have happened, and it wasn't the neighbor's cat for sure. While I'm on the floor level, my mom has a perfect view into the garden and suddenly says, "What the actual heck?" I stand up and look outside as well, only to see a woman and her daughter I've never seen before in my life stand in the middle of our garden. My mom and I decide to confront her, obviously, and go outside. My sweet pup follows us, ready to protect us, even though she is scared to death. I love her and would die for her, not gonna lie. Mom. Excuse me, what are you doing here? Entitled Mom.
Entitled kid just wanted to play, and I need to relax for a bit. This playground is just perfect for her.
She sits down on one of our outside stools. Mom. I'm sorry, what? This is private property. My family lives here. This is our private garden. You can't be here. Entitled Mom.
Don't be silly. This is public space.
She literally closed her eyes and faced the sun after that. I'll never forget that. Mom. You are literally trespassing. I want you and your daughter to leave right now. Entitled Mom opens her eyes again.
Don't lie to me. I'm not stupid.
Me. Okay, miss. We're giving you a minute to collect your kid and leave our garden, or we're calling the cops on you. You're committing a crime. Please get your daughter and leave. Entitled Mom.
What the heck? Are you people stupid or something? My daughter just wants to play, and she's not breaking anything.
Me. I was really mad at that point. Just leave our garden, or I will sue the crap out of you. She had the audacity to roll her eyes at me. My mom and I just look at each other, and she takes out her phone to call the police. Karen sees this and suddenly gets up really fast.
Okay, we're leaving.
Calls for Entitled Kid.
You stuck up jerks.
We decide to ignore her and just watch her kid walking over to her with a shovel in her hand. My mom still has the phone in her hand, ready to call. Entitled Kid.
But Mommy, I want to play. I know, but these bad people don't want us here. They're really mean to us, so we have to leave. But Mommy.
Entitled Kid just cries out, Mommy, for a solid minute while the entitled mom is taking her time getting ready to leave our garden. Now, remember that my sweet angel dog was still next to me, scared, but ready to protect my butt. Suddenly, that darn entitled brat just stops crying, looks at my dog, and throws the shovel at my dog and actually hits her hard. That thing being made out of metal must have hurt like heck, and my dog cries out in pain. I pick her up as fast as I can, basically screaming at the kid that she just willingly hurt a living and feeling animal, while my mom doesn't even wait for a second and calls the police. Entitled Mom is yelling at us that she and her brat didn't do anything wrong and that it was our own fault, that she's ready to leave, etc., while actually trying to leave, but since there is only one exit out of the garden because our high bushes block the rest, my mom simply blocks it. I'm calling my brother at the same time to come home as soon as possible to go to the vet with our pup. My brother and the police arrive at the same time, and while he takes my angel away, I stay with my mom. Entitled Mom is still yelling, and Entitled Kid is crying again. Forget that kid, honestly. And Entitled Mom, being a true Karen, tries to blame us. But since she's obviously not where she's supposed to be, and she's fighting back, she hit one of the cops in the face. She finds herself in cuffs pretty quick. In the end, Entitled Mom got convicted for trespassing and assault of an officer, but because her little jerk attacked my dog, they got away with that. I don't know the medical terms, but my dog's neck was hurt, and she was on medication for some time. But the worst thing is that she is now scared of little brunette girls because the brat looked like that, and she avoids the garden if someone is playing with the shovels. To this day, I still ask myself how the heck a person can even think that our garden is a public playground. You can barely see it from outside of the property. So yeah, shout out to the entitled mom and entitled kid that hurt my dog and gave her a fear for life. Genuinely, go forget yourself. Next we've got Entitled Dad Can't Handle a Boo-Boo. So this happened about a year ago, but it wasn't the first or last time, or even the most ridiculous. Obligatory sorry for grammar or tense errors. Here we go. We've got entitled dad, who's entitled father-in-law. We've got mother-in-law, we've got husband, and me. So not to get into too much background, but my husband and I are living with his parents. They were struggling to pay their mortgage and needed help. I really didn't want to, because I knew how difficult it would be. I cried for weeks when they asked. I was so depressed, knowing what was coming. We moved in with a few conditions. One was privacy and respect for our space, and the other was no fighting in front of our kids. Entitled dad drinks too much and can be pretty awful. Anyway, on to the story. During the move, we had the movers move the big stuff, but leave the small stuff behind. So later on in the day, husband and I are going back and forth from our old place. Husband is doing the bulk of that, while I start to unpack and organize that new home. Entitled Dad somehow cuts his finger. It's messy, but not an emergency. Either way, CVS is 2 blocks away, and he has a car available to him. Mother-in-law and husband are about to take another trip back home. Entitled Dad tells husband to pick up band-aids, and husband says he can't right now. Entitled Dad doesn't like that. He says something snarky to husband. I didn't hear it, but I could tell by the tone of his voice that he was salty. Husband walks out after 1 or 2 word rebuttal. I am in the closet in my bedroom, putting our clothes away. Entitled Dad comes without knocking or asking, complaining about husband and how disrespectful he is. I defend husband, of course, saying that he has a lot to do and just wants to get everything in the house before dark. Little did we know that we'd be up until 2 a.m. that night and the following. I say that we probably have some at home and that we will get it for him. He says, "So what? I have to wait just to get a Band-Aid?" This really upset me. Again, there's a car in the driveway. And again, drugstore is 30 seconds away. Having had a few ridiculous spats in our recent past, I really didn't feel sympathy for him. The guy doesn't even pump his own gas. Mother-in-law does hers, drives back, and then gets his car and does his. This is what he calls respect. This is the kind of guy he is. So anyway, I respond, "Well, no, you have to wait. You can take the car and get them yourself." He loses it, saying that we are ungrateful and disrespectful. Reminder, we moved in to pay his bills because he is too good to get a job unless it meets his exact specifications, and we are ungrateful? Okay. I text my husband to tell him what happened, and he tells me to not worry. I am, of course, upset because I don't want things to go to heck on the first day, so my husband suggests that I have a glass of wine with him. Perfect. He's sitting in the backyard, and I come out with 2 glasses. I ask if we could talk, and I start trying to smooth things over. I tell him that it's important that we let things go, and that we keep a healthy perspective on this whole situation. I point out that we are from 2 different backgrounds, and that we will see things differently, and need to learn to deal with that. I also say that he has the right to ask for a Band-Aid instead of complaining about how he didn't get one. He agrees with me, and I think, awesome, things are better. We finish our glasses, and I get up to continue with what I'm doing. He thanks me for apologizing. Next we've got, how do you confuse a kid for a worker? Okay, I'll set the background. I was 15 at the time, and ever since a certain matter happened at one of my old schools, I went from an innocent goody two-shoes to a guy who doesn't give a crap what people think. Now, while I still have manners and care about people, I don't care if you think I look stupid or my artwork sucks, or if you think I should help you look for calcium powder for your sentient scale noodles. So anyways, there's a PetSmart near where I live, and I loved going there to look at all the cute reptiles, especially the snakes. Love those cute noodles. So one day when I went with my mom to PetSmart to pick up some dog food for our dog, I went to observe the reptiles, and in particular, the snakes. And then I hear a sudden,
"Excuse me, child."
I turn around and ask, "Huh?" While taking out my earbuds, and in my way is a massive quadruple chin, I'm not joking, lady with her Pomeranian in tow and her scooter. Me, knowing basic etiquette for pet stores, I move out of the way. So far, I think is that she wants to see the snakes.
"Boy, what has service come to in this store? I need you to take me to the area with the calcium powder. I need it for my daughter's snakes."
I look at her confused. "Ma'am, I don't work here. Ask one of the available cashiers or something. I don't know." My basic dismissal phrase, I don't know.
"You rotten little. I know you work here. You're wearing a gray shirt. And you wearing that jacket is also very unprofessional. It's summer anyways."
I always wore jackets, still do. I just like wearing them, even in the harsh Arizona heat. Also, PetSmart employees wear blue shirts with slacks, and I was wearing gym pants as they're very comfy. How did this lady confuse me with an employee? I'll say this again. I don't work here. PetSmart employees wear blue, not gray. Also, this is a PlayStation shirt, not a work shirt. I pull back my left part of my jacket to show the PlayStation logo on my chest.
"You little child. I swear I'll get you fired."
And? I love using that line. Always gets people mad.
"You don't treasure your job?"
Not really, as I don't have one.
"Yeah, you don't. You obviously know the power I have at this store. Do you even know who I am?"
I decide to get cheeky. Yeah, you do have power in this store, as they have to get management to kick you out for eating the dog chow.
Why, I never.
And she legit slaps me. Not like a disciplinary one, like a full-on slap war smack. Luckily for me, I used to be a softie when I got hurt, so I start to tear up. And even more luckily, my mom just came around the corner with the dog food and saw her slap me. She ran to my aid and smacked the lady. My mom has always been protective and has only sworn in my presence once before, and even then I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't hear it. But this time, Mama Bear just had a 20-hour nurse shift with jerky coworkers and a hostile work environment, and she was mad. She slapped the lady back and cursed her out. She then grabbed me by the hand and told her to never get within air-breathing room ever again. Mom picked up the dog food, bought it, and left. While we were leaving, the lady yelled,
"But the child works here. You're stealing him."
I know that sounds fake, but I swear to Kami that's what she said. She took a cart and thrusted it at us, well, as much as she could manage in her scooter. I heard it coming and simply put my hand behind me and stopped the cart. Mom must have heard that cart, and she turned and death stared at her. Oh my god, I have never seen such a deadly stare from my loving mom. Even I got scared. Not for her though, but for the whole parking lot that would get caught in the crossfire if she tried my mom again. We left, and as compensation for being such a cool bean, we went and got some fast food from a place that I can't remember for lunch. I'm now in college, and that still makes me chuckle at the pit of my soul. I snapped at Karen. Let me start off with the fact I have been skateboarding for well over 15 years, and anything that could happen at a skate park I have probably seen happen, from super awesome cool tricks to pot smokers, fights, overall counterculture debauchery, and a fair few entitled parents who think their little angels could do no wrong. As I have been growing older and more experienced, two major things can go wrong at a skate park to cause injury. First, going bigger and higher than your personal skill level. Second, small, unsupervised kids being oblivious to the dangerous, fast-paced environment around them, inevitably causing a last-second ditch effort to not literally plow them over and send them straight to the emergency room. A counter-argument to the last statement might be to watch closer to these obviously more vulnerable people. In all honesty, that works a vast majority of the time. Small kids are unpredictable by nature. Combining this with a dangerous environment can cause chaos with a very short time to react to bursts. That being said, let's get to the entitled parent I'm going to call Karen from here. It's about 4:30 p.m. in central US at a skate park with a full-time dedicated security detail. This park is a part of a much larger complex of parks in the area that has been privately funded. I'm with a couple of friends, and the skate park is very busy. It's the first nice Saturday where everything is dry and the sun is out and warm and not a cloud in the sky after 2 weeks of constant rain. I'm a local at this park and know at least 10 to 15 other locals by name or nickname. Due to the nice day and beautiful weather, randoms decide it's time to leave the nest for the afternoon and visit the local parks. Brat number 1 is on a skateboard. Brat number 2 is on a Walmart-bought Razor scooter. At first, I am paying them no mind. They're not bothering me or anyone I am with. As time goes on, the two brat brothers are increasingly annoying some of the younger locals who voice their discontent. A couple more incidents of them being told to not snake, cut off other people. Brat 1 says in a very arrogant tone,
"That's my brother you're talking to,"
at one of the locals. This is where I felt it necessary to now voice my discontent, as I think they are in the wrong and I don't want two brothers picking a fight. I told Brat 1 that Brat 2 needs to watch out for other people. Brat 1 stuck his nose up at me. I shrugged this off. I would have done the same thing if a strange man told me something like that at his age. I'm not an authority figure, he doesn't have to listen to me, and I get that. At one point, one of the brats decided to sit down and lay on a ramp that is skated on very frequently. This caused not only myself, but a couple of the local kids to say something. The brat moves deeper into the pool area. It's about 100 yards of connected ramps going from 2 feet to 15 feet ramps. I am now keeping a closer eye on them due to these recurring issues with other kids their age. 15 minutes or so pass, and I'm going for a trick at full speed, rolling into part of the 8-foot section from above, Brat number 2 was down there, headed towards the shallow end. I feel it's safe to continue with my trick attempt. Right as I've crossed the point of no return, on rolling into this very steep ramp, the brat does a 180 on me and turns back towards the deep end, causing me to kick my board away, slam shoulder first into the opposite part of the half pipe, and loudly and colorfully yell at him to watch out. The only time I used profanity in this entire situation. Brat 1 is now helping Brat 2 climb out of the 10-foot section because they do not want to cross my path again, and also accusing me of not watching out. I know you're not talking to me. Brat 1.
Yes, I am talking to you. You almost hit my brother.
You two have been constantly in the way all day. I have been skating longer than you've been alive. If I wasn't watching out, you'd have a broken arm, or worse right now. So shut your mouth. I am very angry at this point and want nothing to do with these kids, and I'm being very vocal about it. I do not enjoy yelling at kids. It does not make me feel like a big man, only a jerk. Skate parks are dangerous enough without having to dodge unpredictable kids. After this exchange of words, they run off to Mama Bear. I say to myself, go on, tell your mom, I'll yell at her too. I am livid by this point and honestly just want to skate. Sure enough, within a minute or two, Karen comes stomping over to me all huffy and puffy.
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Tries to get in my way. No! I dodge and roll into the 8-foot halfpipe. I tell her this because I know what she's trying to do, and I do not want this confrontation. So I go to the other side of the 8-foot halfpipe so she cannot get in my face or touch me. Pulling a full entitled parent move I've seen before when somebody else had to deal with this scenario. She sits on the obstacle I have been skating for the last hour or so, where the brats have routinely been snaking people. Karen.
What gives you the right to talk to my kids like that?
Me, now furious at the situation and going to snap, not wanting to deal with this after already having told her no, I do not want to talk to her. I laid into her loud enough that she couldn't get a word in without screaming over me. Your kids are in the way and creating a dangerous environment for themselves and everyone around them by being oblivious to the flow of the skate park. I am not responsible for their safety and should not be expected to be watching your dumb kids. Karen, now screaming back at me.
But they're my kids.
I cut her off before she could say another word. I don't care. I do not care if they are your kids.
But I care.
If you care, then you should watch them closer. Their safety is your responsibility, not mine. I should not feel obligated to care for out-of-control brats you decided to have. I've been skating longer than they've been alive, and to make me supervise your brats is not okay. Karen is clearly shocked at this point and has no words for me. She decides to scurry off to the fat security guard they have stationed at the gate, who is usually only looking up from Candy Crush to yell at teenagers for vaping or smoking cigarettes. I explained the situation to the security guard in a calm voice after she managed to hobble over me. Siding with me and talking with a couple other parents of locals I know, she only said to bring any issues like that to security first. I agreed and went back to skating. Karen and her brats disappeared after this. Next we've got a bottle of water. Backstory. A few weeks ago, I started working at a skating rink and make minimum wage, so it's a pretty low-key job. At my interview, my manager told me I don't make enough to have to deal with crazy people, so if I ever encounter one, I can just go and get someone to deal with them. Important later. On to the story. So this just happened about 2 hours ago. To set the scene, I'm working the register in the cafe, and it's about 20 minutes till the end of skating session, aka in 20 minutes everyone has to get off so I can clean. I'm finishing up giving 3 little nice kids their ices, and then I turn to the register where a Middle Eastern woman, entitled Mom, is waiting. I couldn't tell her age, but she's probably around her 40s. I smile and greet her with a simple hello, and then this happens. Entitled Mom.
Water.
She said it in a cold tone, but me, being my nice self, gave her the benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe English isn't her first language, which was the case for many of our guests there today, and she didn't know how to ask for it in any other way. I just smile. Me. Okay, did you want a cup? Or Entitled Mom cutting me off.
A bottle of water.
Now at this point, I knew she was being rude on purpose. She had a glare permanently on her face and just gave off a bad vibe. Not to mention, the way she just spoke to me as if I were a 5-year-old. I just grit my teeth and force a smile. Me. Okay, $2.50. She then proceeds to throw a $10 bill at me. She didn't try to hand it to me. She literally flicked it in my general direction, and it ended up swerving and landing on the counter close to her. At this point, I realize she's trying to start something up, and I again do not get paid enough to deal with that, so I simply walk away. I go back into the kitchen where my coworker was making food, and since he's a team lead, I ask him if he can go help her. I also repeated exactly what she said and how she threw the money at me. Coworker goes to cash her out and give her the bottle of water, and all of a sudden she starts yelling at him, demanding to know my name. He, being the cool guy he is, pretends he doesn't know who was up there and doesn't give her my name. He then starts to walk back to the kitchen, but the entitled mom follows him, coming behind the counter and saying,
"Where is she? I want to know her name. Let me see her."
My coworker puts his hands up to block her from coming any further and starts ushering her back from behind the counter. She then proceeds to jolt backwards, hitting her arm on a hanging board that we use to display cotton candy bags, and starts yelling about how,
"He just pushed me. He assaulted me. Someone get the manager."
My coworker is a bit of a hothead, so he curses her out a little before the security guard steps in. Turns out he had seen the whole thing, and he begins trying to calm her down so as to not cause a scene. Keep in mind, the rink had 4 birthday parties going on, and it was full of small kids. Finally, my general manager hears of the commotion and comes over to get everyone's side of the story. After the lady tells her side of how I supposedly was the rude one and left her money on the counter / refused to serve her, and my coworker supposedly assaulted her, she is then escorted outside by the security guard. My general manager listens to my side as well as my coworker and agrees that he just saw what happened on the cameras in the office and believes us over her. Also, he told us that she is known for causing problems. I guess her daughter used to work there, and she knows one of the managers, so she basically thinks she owns the place. Suddenly, the security comes back in and tells my coworker that the entitled mom has called the police and wanted to press charges for assault. We all knew that he didn't even touch her, so we just waited for the police to arrive and helped the customers that were in line behind her. After a few minutes, the police arrive, and my general manager shows them the camera footage of what happened. They can clearly see that she was lying, so they're all outside trying to get the lady to drop the matter, because if anyone would get in trouble, it would be her for lying to the cops. Sure enough, she gives up, and my general manager lets her know that she is not welcome back. He then relays this to us, saying that she's on the trespass list, and if she comes back, we are to immediately call the cops. I was just shocked. I've been reading this subreddit for about 9 months now, but I haven't had a story of my own until today. Sorry if it feels rushed. I just wanted to write everything down while it's still fresh in my mind. All in all, I'm just glad they were finally able to get rid of her after she's been terrorizing them for years now. Next we've got Entitled Mom Tries to Take Free Subway Sub After Lying. So I got a job at my uncle's Subway, and for a while it was going pretty good. So a couple days ago, this mom and her kid walk in, and this mom looks angry and was dragging her kid in and sits him down on the table. Then she comes to me and was like, don't remember her exact order. So Entitled Mom was like,
"I want a 12-inch tutor sandwich with Italian bread, cucumber, olives, and mayo."
Me. Okay, and do you want it toasted?
"Didn't you hear me? I said..."
Insert original order, cause I'm too lazy.
"Did you hear me saying I want it toasted?"
Me. Sorry. Then I do what she asked and bring it to the cash register. Now the kid starts whining, saying he wants his sub already. Me. Do you want chips or a drink? Entitled Mom.
"For the last dang time, did you hear me say I wanted it?"
Me. I have to ask. Sorry. I'm trying to keep a smile on my face.
"I want your manager, now!"
Me. There's only me and another kid in the back.
"What kind of establishment is this?"
Me. I can give you his number.
"I know the owner. I'll have you fired for insubordination."
Me, trying to hold my laughter, cause my uncle is the owner.
I called the owner. He said you're fired.
My uncle walks in as she said this. Uncle, what happened? Entitled Mom.
This kid was just rude and bad, so I got him fired.
Uncle, you know I'm the owner/manager, and I didn't fire anyone.
Well then, I demand I get the sandwich for free because of your rude employees.
Uncle, I will check the camera footage, and if what you're saying is true, you will get the sub for free, and an apology.
You know what? I'll forgive him and pay.
By the way, I was just quiet during this. Uncle, no, I insist.
It's fine.
Knowing she's done for. She hands me a 20 and said keep the change, took the sandwich and her kid and left the store. After that, I told Uncle what had happened, and he believed me and gave me a 10 and said get back to work. Next we've got the most degrading encounter I have ever had. For context, I work in a hotel pool. We get a lot of people coming to the hotel to come to our pool, and it's more of a mini water park. There are slides, a splash park, multiple pools, and hot tubs. So one rule we need to enforce is appropriate swim attire. It makes sense. We are a pool, so no street clothes, pants, sweaters, etc. allowed in the water. It messes with our chemicals and our filters. I come in for my evening shift, and I'm talking with my coworkers, and a kid comes to pool area 1 wearing a tank top, shorts that look like pajama/sweat material, and you can clearly see the bra strap. Self-explanatory. This is not appropriate swim attire. A coworker goes and speaks with the kid and asks if they have anything to change into. They don't, so they can't swim. Kid just got out, no problem. A few minutes later, Entitled Mom comes up to me.
So, you kicked my daughter out for her clothes?
Nee, I'm sorry, but we have a no street clothes policy.
They aren't street clothes.
I'm sorry, but we do have a no cotton policy. It can't be in the water.
She doesn't have anything else. She has been swimming since this afternoon. And now you kick her out?
Me, I'm sorry, maybe it was missed. We have a no cotton policy.
Do you have a manager? I want to speak to someone.
My supervisor is in pool area 2 if you would like to go speak with him.
Yes, I do.
She leaves and I radio my supervisor, telling him that she is on the way. She doesn't go see him right away, and he comes over to pool area 1 and asks me about it. I tell him about it, and he says he will go back to pool area 2 so Entitled Mom can find him. Instead of following what I said, Entitled Mom, now with Entitled Dad, go to the front desk and talk to the supervisor there. As I was heading back to pool area 2, the family stops me in the hallway and starts shouting at me. Entitled Dad.
We just went and talked to the supervisor, and she said there was nothing wrong with what she was wearing. You aren't telling other kids they can't swim because of clothes. Why are you picking on her?
He was leaning forwards and pointing his finger in my face, and that's really intimidating coming from a big man to an average-sized woman. Entitled Dad.
We talked to her, and she said there is nothing wrong with what my daughter is wearing.
That's when it clicked. He said, her. I tried stammering out a question if they talked to a woman, but was so flustered I could barely get a word in over his shouting. At a pause, I was finally able to say, even though my voice was breaking, "You need to talk to my supervisor. He's in pool area 2.
Well, it was her on your radio who said it was fine.
Then I realized that my radio was going off, and it was my supervisor and the front desk staff talking. I walk away and head back to pool area 2 and start having a bit of a meltdown, as Entitled Dad was so aggressive and disrespectful, all because their brat didn't bring a swimsuit. I talked to various managers about it, and they said they would deal with the rest and I can go take a break and calm down. After my break, my supervisor comes to talk and says that they spoke to the family again and they were rude to the managers too. One of the managers was making a gift basket for them, but my supervisor stopped them as he said they didn't deserve it after being so rude. So, kid was allowed to swim, but otherwise, they got nothing. I do love my supervisor, but really hate people like this. Next we've got last day of retail, receive a customer from heck. Today is my unofficial last day at my cell phone store. I have a week of paid time off that ends Friday, so that is my official last day. I've been coasting all week by just sitting around looking pretty since I wasn't making commission. Today, right after we open, we get a customer who I can now only describe as the customer from heck. Customer comes in with 2 kids in tow, who immediately jet to phone displays and start playing. My coworker greets him and asks if there's anything we can do, setting up our normal interaction questions. Customer wants to switch phone carriers and is looking at deals. No problem. We have deals for everyone. Only customer doesn't know what he wants. He wants his contract paid out from his current service, but he doesn't qualify for that through us. She spends 2.5 hours going through all possibilities for his family. He is an adamant know-it-all who really knows nothing about technology. So, being good retail drones, we all smile and nod at his knowledge. Now, in order to get service with new contracts, a customer must perform a credit check. This determines how much a customer pays out of pocket up front. No sales rep should ever make a promise of no money down until the check is completed. My reps know this. They would never tell someone otherwise. So we complete the credit check and customer has required down payments on his devices. He begins berating my rep because of him having to pay. He was under the assumption, and I know it was assumed on his end because I was on the floor 20 feet away the entire transaction, that he qualified for no payment. Then became the dance of getting the account number from his current provider. He's never had one. Why would he need it? So my team lead steps in and tries to de-escalate the situation and informs the customer that he needs to get it in order to keep his numbers when he switches over. The following exchange occurred before I stormed out. Team lead: if you don't get the correct number, it delays the port for your phones and you'll have to be here longer. Customer: I'm not driving over there, and I don't get a bill sent to me, so you'll have to figure it out. Team lead: well, since it's your account and your info, you'll have to give them a call to get the number. Customer throws phone across the counter at team lead and rep. You call! I'm not talking to them. That's your job. Team lead takes a step back to avoid being hit by the phone sliding towards her. Phones fall off of the employee side of the counter. No, sir. I'm not required to call for you. Dial 611 from your device and it will connect you to the care line for your provider. Rep, I'm going to step back for a second. Customer: forget this. I have things to do. I'll be back, and I better have no money down. I was promised. Rep: no, sir. We never agreed about down payments until your credit application was complete. We cannot do anything about those payments. That is all based on your credit class. If you feel this isn't the deal for you, please feel free to not come back. We would like you to be comfortable with your decision, but not if you're going to yell at us and accuse us of things we didn't do. Team lead coming back onto the sales floor. Throwing your device was very uncalled for. If you make a decision after you've calmed down, then please come back and we would be willing to help you. I left the floor after that to go calm my nerves. My retail filter has flown away this week, so I was going to blow up at his arrogance. But my coworkers have been trying to be better at not letting rude people get to them. Customer eventually stormed out after conceding to call his current carrier himself, but could not talk to anyone without making a payment on his account because it was past due. I really hope he comes back today in a bad mood. My manager was also sick of the arrogance and rudeness, so I will put him in his place. Entitled family takes our toys and makes the mistake of trying to blame us. Some backstory. I was 6 when this happened, and I was pretty good friends with the daughter of the entitled parents at that time. Daughter was pretty entitled as well. I had 6 dolls and a box I kept them in that I was pretty attached to. I had gotten them over the span of 2.5 years. Entitled kid played at our house quite a lot, so I didn't expect this to happen at all. On to the story. Our cast. We've got me. We've got my dad, my mom, we've got entitled dad and entitled mom, entitled kid, and the police officer. It was summer, and I asked my parents if entitled kid could come over. They said yes. A few minutes later, entitled mom and entitled kid arrived. Entitled mom started chatting with my parents, and entitled kid and me went to play in the backyard. I proudly opened my box of dolls. Entitled kid and I both took some dolls and played pretend. Skip to when entitled kid had to leave. This is what I remember the conversation being like. It could be a little off. Entitled kid: can I keep the doll? I really like it. Me: no, sorry. I don't want to give any of them to others. Entitled Kid.
But you have so many more. One doll won't make a difference.
Me. Please give my doll back. I had been taught that being rude was a big no-no, so I was very polite, no matter how rude the other was. Entitled Kid.
Mom!
Entitled Mom comes running, looks at us, and turns to me.
What did you do to my sweetie?
Entitled Kid.
I want all these dolls. Tell her they're mine now.
Entitled Mom.
Okay, sweetie.
Towards me.
These dolls are hers now. Give them to me.
Me. No, they're mine. Give them back.
Shut it, brat. Give me those dolls.
I froze. I got scared and started crying. My parents heard this and walked to us. They see Entitled Kid and me both crying. Mom. What's going on here? Entitled Mom.
Your idiot kid hit my baby.
What? I highly doubt that. My kid doesn't hit other kids unless she has a reason. Why don't we ask both of them what happened? Entitled Kid.
She said I could have all her dolls, but now she's saying I can't have them.
Entitled Mom.
If my angel wants them, she gets them.
Me. I never said you could have them. You wanted to take them without permission. Entitled Mom loses it on me.
Shut your mouth, you ungrateful brat.
I started bawling. I can't handle yelling or angry people well, and the automatic reflex is to start crying. Both my parents are angry and are talking to Entitled Mom about how she can't just make me cry and act like it's not her fault. Meanwhile, Entitled Kid has put all the dolls back in the box, but she didn't leave them. She took the box with all of the dolls and runs away. Entitled Mom runs after her. My parents ran after them, but they were already inside their own home. They lived on our street. We knew where they lived, so my dad, who is furious, goes to ring their doorbell. Entitled Dad opens the door. Entitled Dad.
Yes?
My dad. Give those dolls back. They're my daughter's dolls. Entitled Dad.
What? Dolls? I have no idea what you're talking about.
He smirks and then slams the door in my dad's face. My dad, who is fuming, comes back home. He calls the police. Not soon after, the police are asking my parents what happened. A police officer walks towards me and kneels down. Officer. Can you tell me what happened, little one? Me. My best friend stole my dolls, and her mom yelled at me for not wanting to give them to her. Then they ran away with my dolls. Officer. Thank you, little one. We'll get your dolls back, okay? I nodded. After asking us what they wanted to know, the police went to the entitled home. From this part on, I wasn't actually present, but my parents told me what happened. They ring the doorbell, and Entitled Mom opens the door. Seeing the police, with my parents behind them, she begins yelling at my mom.
Oh my God! Not again! How many times must I tell you, you are not getting my angel's toys?
Police officer. We were told your child and you stole a box of dolls from these people.
That's not true! They're my daughter's dolls. We bought them last week. Their daughter wants the dolls all for herself, and her parents have been trying to get them from us for the whole week.
Police officer. May I see the receipt then? If you really bought them, you should have a receipt. Entitled Mom's face loses all color. My dad loved this part. He told me he couldn't believe this woman didn't know that this would happen.
Well, we lost the receipt. So, well, we can't show you.
The police officers, there were 3 if I remember correctly, looked at each other, clearly not believing it. My mom grins and taps one of the officers on the shoulder. Mom, the dolls haven't been bought all at once. We have all the separate receipts for them though. If you look at the dolls and the receipts, you should have enough proof that the dolls are ours. The police accept this offer. Entitled Mom was forced to get the dolls that instant. And of course, the receipts showed the truth. Entitled Mom looked furious. Entitled Kid was crying as she saw her newly obtained toys disappear. Entitled Dad sees all of this and tries to blackmail my dad. Entitled Dad.
Why do they get those toys? That man has stolen multiple things in the past. Those receipts must be stolen or forged.
The police look from Entitled Dad to my dad. Officer, that is completely irrelevant right now. But if you want a separate case, we can check all of your records. Entitled Mom turns pale after hearing this and tries to shush her husband. but he has already yelled, "Do that!" My parents went home to me. Don't worry, I wasn't left home alone. My babysitter was quickly dialed in between, so I wasn't alone. And I think about a week passes. After that week of peace, we hear police sirens. I, curious as I am, run to the front door and open it. I saw both entitled mom and entitled dad being cuffed. An entitled kid was taken by what turned out to be child support. Apparently, entitled mom and entitled dad had done a lot of bad stuff. Entitled mom had apparently committed theft 3 times and had been arrested before. Entitled dad had been committing all kinds of fraud, and apparently he had all kinds of unpaid fines. I never saw any of them ever again. Next we've got entitled mother wants everyone to speak English in Mexico. In the middle of September, I went to Cancun for holidays with my mom. We're Mexican, so me first language is not English. Sorry in advance for any mistakes. From a city a bit away from there. Here's the cast for this drama scene. We've got entitled mom. We've got poor maid who just wanted to know how we wanted our eggs. We've got me, and we've got my mom. So here goes the scene. We were staying at a really fancy hotel. My grandmother paid for the room and plane for us in celebration of my 18th birthday, and we really wanted to make the most of it. This obviously meant they had a lot of foreign people staying, so most of the hotel was managed in English. Everything was great. We got a nice view of the sea and wanted to do a lot of things. Now, my skin is quite sensible to the sun. I get real red real fast, so we went to swim before breakfast. This was when we got the first encounter with entitled mom. She was a normal-looking lady. She didn't even have a Karen haircut. Her and her 2 sons, both around 8 to 10, were staying in a room 2 doors from mine. So when we went out on our way to the lift, we saw them doing the same. My mom greeted politely, "Buenos dias," and seeing she didn't answer, and assuming then that she was from another place, corrected to "Good morning." And gosh, the look on her face. She looked offended and just nodded in return. She decided to take the stairs instead, even if she had a lot of things from her kids in her hands. Now, I'm a big advocate that there is no way to look Mexican, but my family is a weird Arabic/Japanese mix from 3 generations ago, and you really couldn't tell by eye where we are from. This is going to be important later. We went swimming to the beach, and everything was cool. No bad encounters. I even made conversation with a German girl and my mom with hers. A bit later, we went to the main canteen to eat breakfast. It was a big place full of food, half traditional Mexican food and the other with more international plates. And as much as I love waffles in the morning, I was feeling a bit more like chilaquiles with eggs. They had this guy making the eggs. You just went near the counter, he asked how you wanted them, and then he made them for you. That simple. We stand in queue just a couple people away from our turn, and what do we find? That lady from earlier coming right behind us. This guy had a really broken English, but it wasn't such a problem since we just really needed to know how the different egg styles were named. His English would improve with the time working there. Worker: "Good morning, how do you want your eggs?" Mom: "Revueltos, por favor." "Scrambled, please." The guy sighed in relief. God knows how many times had passed since he last spoke in Spanish. Guy: "Saliendo, señor." "Coming, ma'am." He continues in Spanish. "It's been a while since the last time someone from here appeared. It's low season." Entitled mom touched my mother's shoulder. Entitled mom:
I'm sorry, but could you speak English? Most of us do, so you should as well, you know, to not make anything awkward.
My mom feels uncomfortable speaking in English, so I answered. Me: "I'm sorry if it bothers you, ma'am, but it's easier for him to speak his own language, and if we can help, we will." Entitled mom:
Wow, rude. It's his job to know English, but not ours to know Spanish.
Me: "We won't talk to you in Spanish, don't worry, but right now we aren't speaking to you." Entitled mom:
Just don't speak Spanish at all while there's people.
Me: "I'm really sorry, but we have the right to speak any language we want."
Well, at least speak your own language and don't ridicule the rest of us for speaking English.
Me: "And my language would be?"
How would I know? Korean?
Now, for the record, not me nor my mom look a bit Korean. I don't know where she got that. Yes, we look a bit East Asian, but not Korean. Me: "Ma'am, Spanish is my and my mother's language. We aren't trying to ridicule you. We're just asking for scrambled eggs."
See?
She raised her voice.
It was that simple to ask for your eggs in English. Next time, do it for a start.
We were done and just turned around. The eggs were already served. My mom tells the worker in Spanish, "Thank you very much. I would want another too, fried for my daughter, please." He looked at the entitled mom and said, "Claro, sinito." "Of course, miss." While cracking the eggs, he continues in Spanish. This happens a lot more often than you expect. Americans get really weird. Entitled mom walked away, and we thought we were saved from her yelling until a few moments after, when we were already out of the queue and she was back with the manager.
It was him. He didn't want to cook my eggs if I didn't ask for them in Spanish.
Manager, is that true? The worker was frozen. I stepped in. Me. I reply in Spanish. It's not true. She wanted us to speak English at force. It wasn't even her turn yet. Manager. Miss, she says you wanted them to speak in English.
Well, as it should be. They have nothing to do speaking in Spanish here.
Manager, looking so resigned. Sorry, there is nothing I can do against that. They are staying here just as you are and can speak anything they please. If you wish, there is another person making eggs at the other side of the buffet. Entitled mom.
What an unprofessional place. I want you to know that me and my family are not coming back.
Manager. We're sorry to hear that. Enjoy the rest of your stay. He was so done. God knows how many people like her he's dealt with. Long story short, she just stayed one more day and was always looking at us like we were some kind of bug, whispering things to her kids while directly staring. Did we care? Not really. Next we've got, I'm the comedian, but you're the joke. I do stand-up comedy sometimes. I was performing at a bar/restaurant deal and was sitting in the back taking care of some emails waiting for my set time. I went to the bar to get a drink, had a chat with the bartender for a few minutes, then got the signal I had 5 minutes till show, so went back. When I got to the back room, I realized I'd left my phone on the bar, so ran out again to collect it. Enter Karen. Not her real name, of course. At a table just left of dead center facing the stage, right by the back entrance I'd been popping in and out of all night, and a big group of 6 or 7 people. But even in my brief forays out, I could hear her shrill voice dominating their conversation. I guess here's as good a place as any to mention I was wearing a yellow sweatshirt and cargo shorts. The servers wear all black. Karen.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Me. What's up?
Can you check on our food, please? All we ordered was some wings, and it's been like half an hour already.
Me. Your server can help you with that. I'm not a waiter.
What? Oh, dish boy, line cook, whatever. You work here, so just when you go back there, ask about my food.
Me. Oh no, you see,
No, I get it. You aren't a waiter, but do you work here?
Kind of. Let me explain. Someone in her party. I don't think he's a waiter.
Shut it, okay? I've got this. You work here. You can bring me my food. Just a quick little, trot, 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 carry, boom, done.
Me. I can't do that. Karen. Ungodly shriek.
Why not?
Others in her party. Karen, oh my gosh. Quiet down. They tried to wave me away. I was weighing in my mind whether walking away had the higher chance of getting me fired from future gigs there, or staying and getting into it with her did. I was just going down the stay and get into it with her track when the MC gets up there and goes, "Now a special treat for our patrons tonight, local comedian." So I just stopped myself, lock eyes with Karen, walk backwards to the stage, unflinching. I grab the microphone. Her table is cracking up, realizing what's happened, and I say, "Well, I'd hoped to do a show for you tonight, folks, but looks like that won't be possible. Apparently, I've been reassigned." I start riffing about people who think you work there when you don't and accuse you of lying and how absurd a concept that is. But then it's too perfect. The waitress is coming out with wings and headed straight for her table. I know the waitress. I've performed here before. So I transition and I'm just like, "You caught me, lady. Can't hide anymore." And I grab the wings from the waitress and I'm like, "Oh, Donna, I see you trying to hone in on my section. Can't you see this is my table?" And all throughout the rest of the bit, I would go over and fill their water glasses, bust their plates. Whenever I hit a dry spot, I was like, "All right, hold on. Gotta check in with my customers. Can I interest you in any dessert? How we doing over here? Speak into the mic, please." Karen hated it. but the others at her table were dying laughing and would even sometimes flag me down for water or appetizers. The set ends and Karen goes to file a complaint. Her friends or coworkers, whoever, try to stop her from doing so, and some leave the venue because of her. A couple stay back to try and defend me, and I told them not to worry because the manager and I were cool. But they got to see for themselves. The manager is an old school Armenian guy, and he has no tolerance for this BS. This particular venue was a biker bar before the area got gentrified, so he's used to dealing with way rowdier customers than Karen. So she's going off about mistreatment at the hands of his employees and how I'm probably not licensed to be a food server and that she wanted something done. The manager plays dumb just to see her get worked up and goes, "Who? This guy?" Even though the entire floor saw me give her a hard time. Manager: "He doesn't work for me." Karen:
What the heck are you talking about?
Manager: "It's 11:30 p.m. He worked for me from 10 p.m. till 11 p.m. That's what I paid him for as a freelancer. That's over. Now he's just some guy." Karen:
Well, when he was working for you, he was rude and abstinent.
Me: "What, on stage? Of course I was abstinent. It's not that kind of show." Karen:
You know what I mean. See, he's making fun of how I talk.
Manager: "He's a comedian. That's what I paid for." Karen:
I was a customer treated poorly in your establishment. He was acting as a server here when he served me, and I want a refund on my meal, or at the very least,
turning dramatically to me, Gollum voice,
an apology.
Me: "All right, I might have been a little rude towards the end there, but in my defense, she didn't tip." Manager: "Is that true? Did you not tip?" Karen:
Why would I have tipped the comedian?
Manager: "I thought you said he was acting as a server." Karen was a little tipsy at this point, so somehow drunk logic convinced her smashing a glass would get her point across. All it did was get the manager to have her bounced. Her remaining friends apologized to the manager and said they barely knew her, and they hoped this wouldn't mean they couldn't come in there anymore without her, and he was super nice about it. I told them I hoped I hadn't put a damper on their night, and they said they can't wait to tell everyone else about Karen's outburst. So I don't have a career as a waiter in my future. Kudos to all you service workers who put up with these insufferable people day in and day out. Next we've got getting yelled at and then sweet revenge a year later. For 3 years, I was an employee of a department store that we'll call JC Nickel. I enjoyed my discount, but I only had ever gotten one raise in 3 years and found a new job luckily. One day, a few months after my lovely departure, I was shopping with my sister there. I was wearing a hoodie, looked like crap, and had 2 boxes of leftover Panda Express from lunch in my hand while my sister was trying on clothes. It was a small fitting room with only 3 rooms, and my sister was the closest to the entrance. I stood there waiting for her when a customer approached me. She was a regular, and I'm sure she recognized me from my 3 years of heck. Customer:
Go check in the back for this in my size.
Very abrupt and short with me, but I still had my customer service voice. Me: I'm sorry, I don't work here.
What do you mean you don't work here? Are you on break? You can't just get this one thing for me. You're so rude and disrespectful.
Me: slowly holding up the Panda Express and gesturing to my hoodie and sweats, saying in a firm voice, I don't work here. She huffs away. A few days later, I get a text from a friend still working there. Hey, some lady put in a complaint about you. Didn't you quit a few months ago? We had a good laugh and I thought that was it, until a year and a half later when I'm sitting in class. Professor: We have an observer today. She'll be with us this week and next, and then she will be teaching you a lesson for her master's program. In walks the customer. I'm not sure if she recognized me, but I knew it was her. The day after she taught her lesson to us, she sent us anonymous evaluations she needed for her grade. Of course, knowing her background, I was harsh on her and was only honest. Unrelatable to students, delivery was harsh and cold, poor classroom management, dismissed students with questions as an inconvenience. I don't know what happened after that, but I do know they take these evaluations seriously. Even without telling my classmates what happened, they had similar responses. When I did tell them after she was long gone, they got a good laugh and were happy they demolished her in the evaluations too. Next we've got, I don't even work at this Papa John's. So a little backstory. When I was in college, there was a Papa John's near campus that would get crazy busy on weekend nights, mostly with drunk college students who had a bad case of the munchies. I lived within walking distance and never wanted to pay a delivery fee, so often, when I was one of these drunk college students, I'd just order for pickup. One Saturday night, I order a pizza for pickup, and the guy on the phone said that it would be about 30 minutes or so. I get there about that time later and find that it's basically just one guy and one delivery guy working that night. The guy making the pizzas was running around like his hair was on fire and just trying to keep up with the order log. He comes over to me and goes, "Hey, it'll be just a minute. I'm understaffed." I told him it's all good and that I'm not in a rush. Now it's about 2:15 a.m. and they are open until 3. I started a small conversation with the guy working, and he mentioned how people called in and they were so backed up they could no longer accept delivery orders, and that he kept getting calls about delivery since they disabled it ordering online. He mentioned that the calls alone prevented him from being able to even work on anyone's orders. Here, drunk me thinks, I got this. I told him that I would answer the phone and just let people know that they would be unable to order anything for delivery while I was there. So here I am, answering phone calls drunk for a Papa John's and politely letting people know that they would be unable to handle any more deliveries for the night due to the backlog. Most people were understanding about this issue, except for one jerk. The following is the conversation from what I remember. Me. Thank you for calling Papa John's. Unfortunately, due to the large jerk.
Yeah, I'd like a large pepperoni and sausage for delivery.
Me. I'm sorry, sir. Due to the backlog of orders tonight, we are unable to take any more delivery orders. Jerk.
What the heck? Why the heck not?
Me. We have so many delivery orders that we will not be able to accommodate them within a reasonable time, and we are currently understaffed. At this point, I was getting agitated, but as I was trying to help the guy, I tried to keep my cool. However, since the jerk could not seem to accept the situation, it got a little out of hand. Jerk.
This is BS. I demand you deliver my order ASAP, or I'll talk to your supervisor and get you reprimanded.
Me. Jerk. I don't even work here, so go ahead and buzz off. With that, I hung up, got my pizza, and tipped the guy $10 for his troubles. Entitled Mom at McDonald's. Hi guys, met an entitled mom recently at a McDonald's. Here it goes. Our cast. We've got entitled mom. We've got me, an extrovert who likes to joke around. We've got entitled kid. And we've got cashier. Story. I was at a McDonald's getting a McChicken. I love chicken, if you know what I mean. Listening to music and skimming through Reddit on my phone. I thought nothing bad would happen since I had an awesome day at school and my mood was really up. I started eating the McChicken soon after, talking to myself. I do that often. If I should also get some McNuggets, but soon realized that my wallet was empty. I wasn't paying attention to anybody around me and then heard some kid start talking. Entitled kid.
Hi, how are you?
Me. I'm good, thank you. I always want to be polite to people because I am a Christian. Do to other people only what you want them to do to you. And yes, a sane one. Entitled kid.
What do you think I should get?
I don't even get a chance to respond, and entitled mom enters the scene. Entitled mom.
Hey kiddo, I think we should go now.
Entitled kid.
No, I want what he has.
Points to me. Entitled mom.
Can you give him your food?
Me. No, sorry, I paid for this food myself. I won't be able to afford anything else, and I'm hungry. But you can take a bite if you want to, kiddo.
I want all of it now.
Me. No, I can't give it to you because I would be very hungry. Since the kid was crying and I knew I was going to be blamed, who even trusts a 15-year-old these days? Whoops, nope, the entitled mom snatched it out of my hands. Now my mood went into the minus. Me. Please give it back to me. I don't have money to get a new one. Come on, you can't steal a man's food. Entitled mom.
Why are you stealing my son's food, you jerk?
Me. I'm not. You're stealing my food. Cashier enters, trying to figure out what's happening. She looks to be close to my age, in fact. Cashier. Ma'am, can I help you?
Yes, this man is stealing my son's food. Kick him out.
I then mouthed, is that how you call it? Not American, sorry. Basically said it with my mouth, but without a voice. Karen. Cashier. I need to talk to you for a moment. Points at me. Sure. As cashier and I were leaving, entitled mom gives us a smug smirk An entitled kid starts eating my McChicken. Cashier. A Karen? Me. Absolutely. Cashier. What happened? I know you ordered that. They ordered a hamburger. I saw the mom eat the whole thing. She then started begging the people outside for food. Me. What was the worst excuse? Cashier. I'm going to tell you as soon as I kick those people out. I didn't really care anymore. My hunger was satisfied by then. We then went back. Entitled mom.
When are you going to fine him for the emotional trauma he gave my kid?
Cashier. Ma'am, you were the one who got the short end of the stick.
What? You jerk! My baby got hurt, and you are fining me?
Cashier. Ma'am, you took the food from him. I was behind the counter when he ordered.
He is still a jerk.
Ma'am, please, you don't want to get banned from here.
Fine.
They then go into their car, and I got a free McChicken and chicken nuggets. Turns out, the worst excuse was the single mom card combined with a guilt trip. It didn't work. I mean, great job, entitled mom. You successfully ruined my day. Next we've got, woman accuses me of being a bad worker to try and get free food. About a quarter of a mile away from my high school, there's a McDonald's that many students apply to work at. A few of my friends work there currently, but I do not. Many of them are seniors and don't have a full school day and work there in the morning. After the end of their shift, most of them change in the bathroom and head home/to school. Many students have spirit wear, clothes with the school's name on it, and many people wear it daily. This is where I assume confusion happened. Our cast. We've got me. We've got friend, who actually works at McDonald's. We've got little kid, he doesn't actually talk at all. We've got the nice manager, and we've got entitled mom. I walk into McDonald's and I see my friend at the counter taking an order. I just wave to him and he waves back. I continue walking to the ordering screens and I see a little kid struggling to reach a menu item on the screen. Me. Hey bud, you need some help? The kid nods and points to the fries. I help him with the rest of his order. Apparently his mom was a doctor of some sort and she was on call, talking to a patient. Little kid walks up to the counter and pays for his order using money I suppose his mom gave to him. He was like a little man. I walk back to an empty screen. I'm not even 5 seconds into putting in my order when someone taps on my shoulder. Entitled mom. I turn around. Me. Can I help you, ma'am?
I've been waiting for my order forever, and me and my dear son are very hungry customers.
Me. And why are you telling me this?
You work here, and so you should be helping me.
Me. Miss, I think you're confused. I don't...
Don't you lie to me. I saw you help that kid. I saw you wave to the cashier, too.
Me. Shaken. I helped that kid out of the kindness of my heart. That cashier is just...
Your friend? Sure. And you just happened to wear the same clothes.
Yes, she was yelling at me the whole time. Others had been watching too. I also realized she was talking about my school sweatshirt. My friend wears a similar one with a design from 2 years ago. She must have seen him change out of it for work. Me. Miss, this is the spirit wear for my high school nearby. He's a senior and I'm a junior. Please let me order my dinner. Entitled mom.
You jerks are taking my kids' jobs, and you can't even do them right. Who the heck is your manager? I want to talk to him.
By this point, my friend had done the smart thing and gotten his manager. They both walked around the registers and to this woman and I. Nice manager. Ma'am, what seems to be the problem?
Your lazy worker isn't helping my family get my food. He should be fired. My son is starving.
She gestures over to a table where a boy is intently staring at a smartphone with a shiny pink case. He doesn't look like he cares at all. Nice manager. I'm sorry, but this man does not work here. Entitled mom still looks like she's going to blow a gasket.
Well, whatever. I don't have my food, and I want to be compensated.
Nice manager. Can I see your receipt then?
Ugh, fine.
Entitled mom hands over the receipt. Nice manager takes 3 seconds to look at it before handing it back to entitled mom. You are going to have to leave now. Entitled mom, surprised Pikachu face.
What? Why?
This receipt is clearly from 2 weeks ago. You are causing a disturbance. Please leave. Entitled mom's face goes red.
I'm leaving a review so bad, you will never get business again.
She then grabs her kid as she storms out. All 3 of us are standing there dumbfounded. The nice manager offers me a free meal, but I decline. I order my meal normally and enjoy my dinner. Next we've got entitled mother doesn't understand her kid is short. So, obligatory happened years ago at the start. It's how I remember it, obviously, so I'm not too sure about all the details. 'Twas about 5-ish years ago to be specific, and back then, me and a bunch of my buddies were into bikes, big time. So much so that the bikes we were using were pretty high-end. Kona Stinky, 2010, Cannondale, Jekyll, and some With People BMX, which I can't recall. Will be important later. Anyways, we went down to the beach as it was summertime, and we just wanted to go for a swim on a smaller, more easygoing type of beach compared to the rest in my city. We put our bikes on an out-of-sight rail next to us and went for a swim. About an hour later, we decided to go into the shade and play some Squalor, a card game. All was going well until we saw a kid, probably about 9 to 10, barely 1.4 meters, 4'7" I think, pointed at our bikes and said, "Mom, I want one." Started off fairly polite, honestly. I'll refer to my friends as M and K. Entitled Mom.
Hey, you there. Are these your bikes?
Me. Yup. Did we place them on private property or something?
No worries. I'm just wondering if my kid could ride any of them.
All three of us go up to see what we can do. Me. Hey, M, would you mind letting him ride the bike? K's bike and my bike are a tad too big for him. M was the owner of the BMX. At that point, the entitled mom said,
"He wants to ride this one,"
pointing at the Jekyll. Me, as politely as humanely possible. "I'm sorry, but that bike is way too big for him. It's set up for my height, and I'm over 1.8 meters tall, 6 feet, and we don't have the tool to lower the seat." Entitled Mom.
"I don't care. Go get them. My baby wants to ride that one."
Bear in mind, the Jekyll was a stupidly expensive bike, and we really didn't want her kid to fall off. Trying to avoid confrontation, all three of us say, "I really wish we could. However, we live on the far side of town, and we gotta go soon anyways, so we could come by tomorrow as well, and we'll bring the tools so he can try to ride it." That wasn't good enough, apparently. At that point, entitled mom started raising her voice.
"I won't be here tomorrow. I want you to let entitled kid ride your bike now."
Me. Sorry, but that's just not gonna happen. One last time before we go, he can try the BMX, but not the big ones. She didn't care. Her kid was starting to have tears in his eyes, and what else could a mother of a whining kid do but start thinking of some dumb BS? She resorted to this tactic.
"Are these even your bikes? I mean, you obviously don't look like you can afford the big ones."
The three of us, metalheads with terrible hair, looked at her, confused. Me being slightly upset, with the deepest, most disgusted voice ever. "Yeah, I'm not gonna answer dumb questions. We offered your kid to ride the small bike, you declined, and now we're out of time." Entitled Mom.
"I guess I'll just call the cops and have them take these bikes, as you definitely can't afford something like this."
The three of us just decide to ride off because forget this noise. She starts to body block us, saying,
"You won't leave until the police are here."
K. Listen, lady, we tried to be polite, but you decided to act like a jerk. The bikes are obviously ours, as there's pretty much no one in a 500-meter radius, and if we stole the bikes, we definitely wouldn't want to be seen riding them by stupid, overreactive parents with little entitled jerks. M and me start hiding our laugh, and entitled mom gets as red as a tomato in the face. Entitled mom, pretty much screaming at this point.
"How dare you say that? I'm 3 times older than you, and I won't allow this behavior."
She then attempts to slap Kay, but he dodges because it's a 40-something-year-old woman and not Mike Tyson. As she misses, she gets even more upset and starts pushing us off of our bikes, and that's when I snap. "Why don't you just shut up or buzz off?" Ideally, both in either order. We then just left, had her dumbfounded but pretty much glowing red in the face. We had a good laugh about it when we got back, and that's it. Next we've got explaining to customer I just had surgery and can't go to her house. I work for a large company installing/repairing TV and internet, where we are required to give our business cards with our cell phone numbers for 30-day warranty if anything happens. I have so many stories I could tell, from 5 a.m. wake-ups being screamed at, to having to block someone's number when they called 90 times while I was on vacation, to someone threatening to not let me out of their house one time But this one is a special kind of stupid. Almost 1 year ago, I got hurt at work, and a few months ago had surgery, so way past the warranty period. 2 days after surgery, I received a phone call. Being confused on my pain meds, I answered the phone without checking the caller ID. IC is insane customer. M is me. Customer.
Hi, this is customer. You were just at my house, and my internet isn't working. I have people coming over for the weekend and need you here right away to fix it.
Me. Hi there. I'm sorry to hear your internet is down. However, I haven't been working at work in over 6 months and will be unable to come fix it for you as I just had surgery a few days ago. Since being off hurt, I've received tons of these calls, way nicer than this though, and everyone has apologized and wished me well after I've told them the number to call. But you really have to explain there is zero chance of going out there or they will try and work something out with you. Hence the surgery explanation. Now back to the story. Customer.
What do you mean you can't come out here today? I can't wait the 2 weeks it takes for someone to come out.
Me. Ma'am, as I just said, I can't come fix your internet as I can barely walk right now, let alone drive. It's been over 30 days since I was at your house, and even if I wanted to come help you out, I'm legally unable to drive right now. Customer mutters something about customer service and complaining about me to my company. Me, very frustrated and in a lot of pain. I hope you enjoy your time with your company this weekend. Here is the customer service number. It's been over 4 months and I've heard nothing about it. I can only imagine the service rep who had to listen to a woman complain about a dude who just had surgery refusing to fix her stuff. Better yet, maybe she realized how insane she was once she had time to process the fact I said I had surgery and wasn't just being lazy like she was implying. My job has had people rolling the stories I've had over the years. It truly is never a dull moment in the life of a tech. Next we've got, I just wanted my deposit back. So about 10 years ago, my wife, then girlfriend, and I decided to move in together. She was sick of living in a dorm and my lease was up, and we had a family friend that was looking for someone to move into a little granny flat under their house. I say under because they lived on a steep hill, where the flat was below the house with an entrance in the back side. So we had this incredible view out back, a pool, we'll get to that insane thing, fire pit, etc. And the rent was in our price range. And the landlord, let's call her Mary, even dropped it $100 if we did some yard work, skimmed the pool, etc. Oh, my parents own a couple rentals and have my whole life. I've done maintenance for them and even attended a couple court cases as well with them. This will come into play later. Everything was great for a couple of months. Then Mary and her wife started fighting. Screaming matches, stomping above us, throwing things. I didn't understand how people could be that mad at each other that often and still be together. I eventually sent them an email saying we were not comfortable with the fighting and we wanted to make sure they were okay, etc. They replied to that with,
"You're lucky to have a place this nice."
Mary began to scrutinize the yard and pool work I was doing. To this point, she would insist I vacuum and skim the saltwater pool with no chemicals. Saltwater pools need far less chlorine than regular ones, but they still need some. Wanted me to stop mowing and use a weed whacker only because the mower was getting old and tired. Really petty things. We decided to cut our losses and get out of there. Found a new apartment and a roommate, one of my wife's college friends, that was open a month later. Perfect for us. We were on month to month at this place. Emailed Mary that we were moving out in 30 days, etc. At that point, she went insane. Tried to do daily inspections of the granny flat. Would call and email daily with chores around the property she'd insist we do, and would pound on her floor, our ceiling, every time she heard so much as a whisper. Daily inspections would require 24 hours notice. She never gave that. Then she tried to bring potential renters over to see the flat. We flat out told her to go away when that happened, with no notice. Finally, 2 weeks before we move out, she had a pest control guy stop by when I was at work and my wife was in class. Our cat was home alone, and we got the notice about spraying pesticide from her in a text about the same time the guy started. So I rush home after work, stop by upstairs, and ask for a copy of the pest control receipt. I have massive allergies to most pesticides, so I need to know what was used. She goes into her office and brings back a copy with every single chemical on the list checked off, every single one. I immediately take the copy, run down, grab the cat and a handful of clothes, and drive to my parents' house. We stayed there 4 days, hoping everything would clear out in time for us to finish packing and cleaning. The last couple days before we moved out, Mary was out of town, and we were able to get it completely finished a day early. We'd even patched nail holes, painted, cleaned the carpet. My mom came and helped us get it ready for the next tenants. It was immaculate, and we took photos and video of everything. When Mary did the checkout with us, we said we weren't comfortable being there without filming, legal to do, and she did a short walkthrough stating it was fine, but that her copier was broken and she'd have to email us the final copy. 2 days later, we got that copy, with $1,400 in damages claimed above our deposit, including a number of charges like,
My wife had to replace a screw in a cabinet. $1 for screw, $15 labor.
I was livid. The place was spotless. My mother, a landlord who does all her own prep work and rentals, helped us, and we had been very non-confrontational except for filming the walkthrough. I had kept every email, text, and letter from them and started to put together a small claims case. I figured she would already be doing the same. Luckily, I knew my tenant rights and that she had violated them a lot, including email chains where I'd point out 24-hour notice laws, etc., in emails and she had replied to them. Finally, I called the exterminator. The conversation went like this. Hi, you sprayed in my flat without my permission because my landlord ordered it with no notice to me, with my cat inside, and used every chemical on your receipt. We most certainly did not. Here's a copy of the work order. We only put out ant traps on the outside. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for your clarification. Armed with that last little piece, I countersued, asking for a bad faith penalty as well as our deposit. Bad faith was 3 times deposit, so I was asking for a total of 4 times what we had given Mary on move-in. The big day came in court. I showed up early, had everything in order and ready, and she swaggers in, huffed up, and clearly ready to put me in my place. We sit outside the courtroom for about 20 minutes until a courtroom worker asks the waiting room if anyone would be willing to go to mediation instead since they were booked solid. We both say yes, and we go into a mediation room with an arbitrator whose job was just to keep us civil and answer any legal questions they could while staying neutral. Mary lays out her case. It takes about 4 minutes. The arbitrator looked very neutral still. Then I present my case, bringing up each violation, each lie, and end it with the work order from the exterminator, both copies. At this point, the arbitrator looks visibly upset, and I can tell they're just trying to stay neutral. Mary then asks them,
Why is he asking for 4 times the deposit?
The arbitrator then explains the bad faith penalty, then looks at me. Would you be okay dropping the penalty for your deposit back? Sure. They looked over at Mary. I can't tell you what to do, but what I can say is, if you decide to go back into that courtroom in front of a judge, it's not likely to go in your favor. I swear, they really said this. I know they're not supposed to, but they did. I got my deposit back. Entitled father demands I tutor his kid without being paid despite living in a mansion. So, I feel like I need to be pretty clear about my accomplishments and everything. I have a nearly perfect GPA. I have taken over 70 college credits, and one of my majors is education. This being said, I figured I could make some side cash as a tutor while at college. I'm planning to teach middle school and high school, so I created an account on a tutoring website and got involved with a couple of local schools. I got my first call about a week ago from a nice mom who was asking me to tutor her 15-year-old son in history and English. I asked her for any details about her son. She explained that he's brilliant at science and math, but has no motivation for English or history. She hinted at a learning disorder in reading, such as dyslexia, but I didn't pry too much since she seemed protective of her son. Nice mom and I scheduled an appointment for me to have essentially a quick homework session where I could get to know her son and how he learns. I would not be doing a full tutoring session. She explained to me that while she wouldn't be home because she had to take her other kid to the doctor, her husband would be home and that he shouldn't bother us. At this point, I let her know that I only charge a $10 consultation charge for the first meeting, which I request directly after the session, but I do charge $15 an hour after that, which can be billed. She agreed and forwarded me the address. When I arrived the next day, sure enough, the entitled father was home. I hadn't recognized the address at first because I am way too poor to live in this area. This house was at least 3 houses, and there was a Porsche in the driveway with the bumper sticker of a very expensive private school. When I knocked on the door, the greeting I got was a little rude, but I didn't think much of it. Entitled father.
Who are you?
Me. I'm the tutor for your son.
And? Who sent you?
Nice mom.
She didn't tell me that.
Are you sure? My name is Tenlin1.
Oh, right. Yeah, come on in. Son is upstairs.
I headed upstairs and met with the son. I almost immediately peeped out that he had a special interest in chemistry and physics, which made history and English difficult for him to focus on. I did, however, realize that putting chemistry and physics into those two subjects. This question is asking for an example on how this war affected Americans at home. Do you think that there were any science jobs created by any chance? We were able to get his history homework done, but like I had explained to Nice Mom, this would not be a full session. I collected my things, now having enough to go off to form a plan. I headed downstairs to collect my payment from Entitled Father, who was sat on the couch watching TV. Me. Hi, I'm sorry. Nice Mom and I agreed on a payment of $10. Entitled Father.
She didn't give it to you already?
No, I only collected after the tutoring session.
And you're done already? It's been 45 minutes. I'm not giving you $10 for 45 minutes.
Well,
It's very unprofessional of you to assume I would pay for that.
I charged $10 for the first meeting, since I'm mostly trying to get to know your kid. And we don't actually complete much homework at—
Excuse me? You want me to pay you? And you didn't even do anything?
I have to form up.
I have a special needs kid. And you think I can afford to be paying for just anyone to come in here and do nothing?
At this point, I sort of looked around the house, almost completely by accident. I was just sort of shocked that he could be living like this and be claiming to be broke. Me. Sorta. Yeah.
How much is your going rate, huh?
$15 an hour.
That's absurd.
I should mention at this point that the going rate for tutors in my area is around $20 an hour, so I'm really a steal. Me. I don't feel like it is, but that's not the problem right now. It's only $10 for today.
You should be tutoring my kid for free. He's so bright. He just has a few issues.
I won't tutor him for free.
Why not? Why not?
I'm a tutor.
So?
We get paid. We aren't volunteers.
My point is that exactly. You should be volunteering. You can see he has so much ahead of him, but he's just struggling with writing.
I see that. I still need to get paid.
Leave. You're not getting anything.
I completed a service. I need my fee. Nice Mom already agreed to this. Entitled Father started to wave his hands wildly around the room and began to yell a bit. He started yelling about how having item A doesn't make him wealthy enough to afford an entitled tutor like me.
Having this doesn't mean that I'm rich. I still have bills to pay.
I understand that. I hope you can understand that I'm asking you to pay this one. I have a tendency to get very sassy very quickly, so understandably, Entitled Father was mad at this point. He started yelling at me about being unprofessional. I started to dial Nice Mom when he noticed.
What the heck are you doing? You dang kids can't stay off your phones for longer than—
I'm calling Nice Mom. His face went pale, and he said,
Don't do that.
Me. Why? Entitled Father.
Just don't. Take the dang money and leave.
At this point, Entitled Father finally handed me the $10, and I happily got into my car and left. I couldn't believe, really, that I had acted that way over $10. But then again, I had an agreement. Nice Mom called me the moment she got back from the appointment to apologize for her husband. She offered to pay me $18 an hour instead, but I said no. I don't think any amount of money is worth going through that every time. Next we've got Roommate Can't Cut the Umbilical Cord, Invites Parents to Stay in Shared Living. Cast. We've got Entitled Mom, my roommate's mom. We've got Hugh, roommate who won't cut the umbilical cord. He's 30. We've got Sam, Hugh's girlfriend. And we've got me. Also, I'm only 25. Alright, let's get started. I'm not even worried about roommates finding this. Yes, Hugh's parents travel a lot and go to conventions and whatnot. They were coming to town and he was making a stink about how they would stay with us. This started as a firm no way. He tried to barter though.
They will only be around in the late evening. You won't notice them. They will go out before you get home from work.
Tried to stick firm on. Dude, these are your parents. I don't like my in-laws on the best of days. I don't want to be living around your parents. His mother disapproves of like 75% of my lifestyle, so I tried to keep firm. Well, as stuff happens, and stuff happens, I had a family emergency for some overlap time they would be in town and had to fly home. Since I was gone, this left Hugh free and clear to invite without me getting involved. He's entitled himself, but that's a different story. I'll summarize it as, why can't you stop doing X, Y, and Z for my parents? It's just a few days. For our housing, I have a tiny room downstairs, and I have full decoration control of living room. Roommates stiffed me on the deal, and have 2 large private bedrooms upstairs with a bathroom, and paid the same rent as me. Shaking my head. Family emergency is the exact opposite of fun vacation time, and it was a hard time for me as my grandfather passed away. Afterwards, I really just wanted to go home and rest and, mourn. Decided to text Hugh to notify that I'm gonna be home this time on this day. He replied back saying his wonderful parents were going to be there and to just act like they aren't around. How nice that unwanted guests are in my home just chilling. No agreement. Wonderful. I respond saying that I'm having a very hard time, reminding him about how he said I would only potentially see his parents in the evening, and when I get home at X time, I was going to need space as I'm emotional and exhausted. The flight home was where I hit my major emotional break, the whole trip settling into me. My arrival was 1:30 p.m., well within the afternoon window. Before boarding, I sent Hugh another text. Just boarding now, no delays. I will be home in X hours. Hugh responds before I get on. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Text off the plane. I'm on my way home, just want to relax. No response from Hugh. This was a good sign to me, hoping he was out and busy with the parents. I arrive at the door and see that all the windows downstairs are wide open, my curtains pulled back. New decor on the windowsills? I'm just walking up to the house and I'm not having it. Oh well, sweet relaxation soon enough. Curtains/windows bothered me because our sketchy neighbors scope our house often, and I have a lot of expensive stuff I don't want them to know about. Bad housing situation stuff. Once I open the door, I am greeted by both of Hugh's parents and Hugh, and they're all sitting at the kitchen table anticipating me. Flabbergasted was I, just stared at everyone for a moment. Our living room is also our kitchen, small space. Entitled Mom.
How was your trip?
Me, trying not to just full meltdown. It was not a fun trip. I have to walk completely around and behind them to put my bags in my room. I shut the door and just cried for like 10 minutes and felt like I was hiding in my own house. The kitchen table is literally 2 feet from my door. Tried to pull composure and just get some water. Entitled Mom.
It's been so long since we went back to X. Is there still a Y and Z there?
Me pouring my water. Uh-huh. I dart back to my room before I could be asked more questions as I saw her getting ready for more. I can hear them talking about how I didn't put on my hosting attitude. Irked me a lot. At this point, I was a full-blown wreck and just wanted them to leave. The conversation went on outside my bedroom door for about 20 minutes before Hugh's mom starts cooking. All I wanted was to eat, drink some water, and nap off the stress. Now Hugh's mom is going to take the afternoon to cook dinner, I guess. Now I messaged Sam, which in hindsight was a bad idea. She flipped, apologizing to me like 100 times. Note, I never messaged Sam while I was gone, just gave her my itinerary. I asked them to be gone today. They were in your space? I had your flight time on the fridge. They knew not to be there. I felt bad for hyping Sam about it, but she called Hugh and flipped out on him, and I could hear the scuffling around. Around 5:30, they left. I, like a wary little animal, creep out of my bedroom. Big pot of chili on the table with a note explaining to me the duties of a host. Yep, seriously.
Thanks for letting us stay in your home. We understand it's a hard time for you. When guests stay, sometimes there is new expectations we think you should take into consideration.
A long list of caretaking, like serving tea and whatnot. Seriously. It continued on like this, everyone just very uncomfortable. Hugh being an overgrown baby. Sam freaking out because Entitled Mom has no decency and liked to grab her stuff and placed it around the house. It was weird. She just liked to strut around and judge us. She bought us so much crap in this time that she could have bought a hotel. She got me a set of tobacco-scented candles with another note about how people should act. I'm also a smoker, which she dislikes, so this felt like a gift in bad taste. Also, no, I didn't eat any chili. I'm super picky and super sensitive, and generally avoid communal foods as I prefer not having stomach issues. Yeah, I got the minimal of it, but it was so annoying and awkward. Sam had an awful time. Entitled Mom ripped apart her room and her bed frame and displayed anything unfavorable around the house for everyone to see. It was all so passive, so there wasn't any crazy or anything, just seething you could see in her eyes. Hugh had no problems with this. He acted like this was normal. Hugh's dad just shadowed entitled mom around and seemed to have an affinity for my coffee mug I got as a graduation gift. Entitled mom and I did get into an argument because I was already planning to move out the day I moved in because A, temporary living, B, I have pets back home I want to bring with me, but the place isn't pet friendly, and C, I don't want to live with roommate forever. She got all uppity that it was a big favor from our landlord to let us live here, and how could I take that away from her son? I paid way too much money for a junior bedroom to hear the word favor tossed around. Also, Hugh knew from day one that this was temporary for me. I'm still flabbergasted to this day on how Hugh and his mom thought it was okay to stay in our shared living space that was acknowledged when we moved in. It was going to be a small living space for the 4 tenants. 1/4 of rent does not equal you being able to invite your parents for 10 days stay with no agreement and to infringe on your roommates' lifestyles. Next we've got the worst Karen of all. So I did a college internship with a very popular magical theme park in Orlando this past year. Working at such a large theme park, there are hundreds and hundreds of different costumes, uniforms, that span across the parks, some of which I honestly could see how they could be mixed up with some large stores in their uniforms, aka red shirts and khakis. This did not apply to my costume, however. It was very unique, and I really don't get how this happened to this day. I worked at a huge merch location in my park. One could say it was gear-tastic. Our whole store was gear-themed, and we have working gears all around the store. This being said, our costume consisted of a shirt that is red, blue, and yellow. It had giant gears embroidered on the front, and it is literally impossible to miss. Not to mention the embroidered mouse on the back. To complement this amazing shirt, our pants are high-waisted gray slacks. But when I say high-waisted, I mean those suckers went high. They made anyone who wore them look like a grandma. Now, with this company comes lots and lots of training. We are told it's perfectly fine going out in public in our costumes. We are human too. We are just told to make sure none of our company IDs are shown, and we remove our iconic name tag. That being said, I found myself grocery shopping after work from time to time. After a particularly long shift, I want to say 13 hours, I made my way to the closest Big Blue store. We all know how many Karens lurk the aisles of that store. Now, amp that up by 9,000 because they are all on vacation. This particular store is very close to the theme park, so it's safe to say that these people have probably been visiting our parks. It was about 11 p.m., and needless to say, the store was packed as the parks just closed. I made my rounds around the store, gather what I need, and end up at the self-checkout. This particular store is always packed, but the self-checkout was definitely the fastest. So I thought, this is where the story really gets interesting. I have a full cart, and I'm just waiting in line for a checkout to open. I'm playing on my phone at this point, not knowing the show that is about to happen. Our lovely Karen of the evening is having issues with her self-checkout, and usually there's an employee in a blue vest that's there to help, right? Wrong. There was no store employee in sight. So naturally, when her eyes landed on me, she automatically thought I was somehow employed by this store. She yells something like, "Hey, come help me," towards my general direction. But as I am not an employee, I didn't think she was speaking to me. I continue to play on my phone and she yells again,
Excuse me? Stop sitting on your phone and do your job.
At this point, I realized she was talking to me. I gave a polite, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't work here." And boy, did this set her off. This is where any normal person would think, oh, duh, they aren't even wearing the uniform. But not this Karen. She was in too deep. She started blowing hot air out of her ears, just like the cartoons. I swear. She makes her way over to me and gets super close to my face.
You are going to stop being lazy, and you are going to help me right now. Teenagers like you need to learn to do their dang job. It's a wonder your generation is even still alive at this point. Now help me with this machine, or I will speak to your manager.
Let it be known, I'm 20, and honestly look nothing like a teen. I let out another, "Ma'am, I promise you I don't work here. I'm sure someone will be around soon to help you." Throughout this whole encounter, I had to keep up the whole niceness persona, as I am repping my own company and they have a high standard for customer service. She starts going ballistic, and screaming about getting a manager and how she's going to corporate about how I won't help her. I really had it at this point. Luckily for me, the woman and her family in front of me stepped in and said, "Lady, she literally works at insert theme park here. She doesn't work here. Leave her alone." Karen is full on red in the face now. She spits at me as she starts yelling for a manager.
Excuse me, I need a manager.
Finally, a blue-vested employee comes over. He starts calming our wonderful Karen down and trying to understand what is happening. At this point, I just push my cart past the crazy Karen and I start checking out. I just wanted to get home and make a corn dog. I hadn't eaten all day and I already had to deal with crazy guests at my own job, so I was not about to be berated outside of my job too. Well, Miss Karen followed me to my checkout and continued to yell at our blue vest boy.
This girl you have working here gave me attitude, and I will not stand for this. I am on vacation. I am not about to let your employee treat me like this. I want her fired immediately.
At this point, she is blocking me from my items in my cart, and I just want to check out. The blue vest calls for backup, and a manager comes and calms her down. Luckily, our manager friend takes Karen away from me so I can finish checking out. At this point, I just want to cry and eat my corn dog. After Karen left, I bagged up my items as fast as possible and booked it out of there. I never learned of what happened to Karen, but I hope she is satisfied. Anyways, that's the story of the craziest Karen I have ever encountered, and it wasn't even at my job, which is a Karen trap. Next we've got, "Return my kittens," says the lady who left them to fend for themselves. I wasn't a proper part of this story, although I witnessed it unfold on a post on Facebook saying 2 lone kittens found, clearly tame and people-seeking, can't be older than 2 months. Is anyone missing these 2 babies? A little background. In my country, we have an overflow of cats and kittens without homes, roaming about. Both our state and voluntary organizations work together to fix this with sterilizations, chipping, and giving homes and foster homes to the kittens they can. Not easy. Also, the 2 more or less common rules about kittens. 1. They are not to be taken from their mother before at least 12 weeks, 3 months approximately, of age. And 2, they should not be outside without supervision until between 6 to 12 months of age, depending on who you are talking to. I would aim for 12 months for safety, but some are impatient as heck. Due to the lack of geographic sense, they get lost, in other words. Not to mention that I live in a fairly cold country with hard weather at times, and a little kitten could easily get sick. So to the story. One of the more local organizations, 2 nice ladies being behind it all voluntarily, just doing their best with what help they can get, let's call them nice ladies, gets a notice from a concerned lady about 2 kittens at her farm that is clearly not hers, but really tame and people-seeking. They're way too young to be out on their own. Concerned lady sends some pictures to nice ladies so they can help locate the possible owner. Nice ladies warned early that the kittens, about 2 months, should not be out alone, and concerned lady didn't have the chance to keep them, urging anyone to take contact via their Facebook or any other way. Several people voiced their concerns and offered to be foster homes if need be. Then the apparent owner, entitled lady, wrote,
They're mine. I'm on vacation, but no, they are doing just fine, so leave them be.
And so the heck starts. Nice lady answers, they are out on their own, no mother or a parent caretaker in sight, so no, they are not fine and need to be picked up. Concerned lady also answers, they are here with me, so yes, they are okay for now, but I have a severe cat allergy and can't take care of them. Entitled lady,
They are fine. I have someone looking after them.
Nice lady, then where and who are they? The kittens should not have been left out alone at this age. Entitled lady was quiet for a while, and the comments came in running. Mostly people telling her how unsafe it is, and that if she's not at home, someone should come get them. Some got mean. Some asked logical, has there been a misunderstanding? Questions? Too many to retell all over. Then suddenly, entitled lady came back, accusing concerned lady of stealing.
You took them, didn't you? Give them back this instant. They aren't yours.
Concerned lady, what? I haven't taken them. They just showed up without supervision from anyone else.
Give them back. I have a sitter for the kittens.
Nice lady jumps in, trying calmly, as far as such can be shown in the comment section of course, to make entitled lady understand that no one has stolen her cats and all they wanted to do was get them home. Nice lady, could you please tell us who is responsible for them?
Who? I am. I will be back in a few days. I expect the kittens to be safely back home where they belong, or I will contact the police.
Nice lady, If you are the one responsible, then you shouldn't have left them out on their own. They are too young and it's not safe.
They're doing just fine. Now put them back.
Concerned lady. Entitled lady, 1. I have not stolen your cats. 2. They are not fine on their own. 3. We should be contacting the police on you for leaving them. Nice lady. Could you please just answer our questions, or we will have to take them in ourselves as they cannot be left out alone.
You will do no such thing. I will have you arrested.
Nice lady. I sent you a few private messages. Could you please answer me? This entitled lady isn't even bothering to do anything other than accuse the people that only want to help. It could have been as easy as, they got out by mistake. But no. The concerned lady had to have stolen them, right? Entitled lady keeps on going.
They're doing just fine. I will be home in a few days, so leave them.
And by then, everyone was done. They've had it. Concerned lady. I will from here on give them to nice lady to care for, and I have reported you. We have a pretty nifty website to report these matters quickly to animal control. For leaving defenseless baby animals. Entitled lady repeats.
Concerned lady, give them back.
Now a random lady who commented about helping fostering the kittens earlier shot in. Random lady.
How and who should we give them back to? You are on vacation and won't be back for several days. You won't give us any contact info for anyone else. And leaving the kittens outside in the cold alone at such a young age is not only illegal, as we have a duty to help anyone, both humans and animals alike, in need, but it is also cruel and unnecessary. Rude lady kept on going. I have also reported you to the police, entitled lady, and I will gladly help foster them. Nice lady and concerned lady can come get them at any time needed. Just holler. And I hope any others reading this will also report her, as she does not know how to care properly for them, and is clearly not willing to learn either. There came lots of thumbs ups and hearts on random lady's messages. One lady started to defend entitled lady, but all responses to her again were basically, how can anyone defend leaving helpless kittens all alone and accuse someone for stealing them in the process? Entitled lady didn't answer anymore, and the kittens were put up for adoption when they were about 12 to 14 weeks old by the local organization. Don't know what happened to entitled lady, but cats have a low level of importance here, as there are so many of them. She not only left the kittens, but she accused concerned lady of stealing them, when all she wanted to do was help. An entitled lady cared 0% about the fact that they should have been inside, safe. How dense can you get? I do hope she at least got a fine of some kind. I doubt it though, unfortunately. So Karen, what did you think of today's stories? They were horrible.
Horrible? How dare you? These were some of the best we've ever read.
Oh, shut up, Mr. Reddit. It's ridiculous what people like myself have to go through, dealing with stupid people like yourself and your subscribers.
Look, Karen, you can say whatever you want about me, but don't you talk about my re-army.
Re-army. Most of your viewers aren't even subscribed to your channel. 70% if I'm correct.
Well, I can't argue with that. That's true. Most of my viewers don't actually subscribe for some reason.
It's because you're stupid, Mr. Reddit.
No, I'm not. All right, guys, let's prove Karen wrong by making sure you're subscribed to the channel and turn on notifications.
They're not going to listen to you.
And if you'd like me, or Karen,
what?
To record a special message for you, come visit me on Fiverr, link pinned in the comments below.
Never.
And join as a channel member today, and Karen will give you a special shout out in the next video.
Like heck I will.